Hello friends, welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to Clash of Code with viewers. So today we're going to be playing the Clash of Code game. Before that, we are going to finish the code kata that we started this morning, so I'll talk about that. But we will be playing Clash of Code. And if you're watching on YouTube, please head over to Twitch. There should be a link in the chat. I am not going to be reading any YouTube messages tonight, so I'm only going to be looking at Twitch messages. And if you're new to the Code Kata show, you can go to github.com/codinggarden/code-katas. You can see all of the code from previous episodes. And this morning, we were working on this 6Q that was submitted by Mate, who actually created this kata, is what they're saying here. And we solved it in the simplest terms. But the tricky thing about this particular code kata is that performance matters. And so you have to write a more performant solution that can work and not time out. And that's where we did not do very well. And we're going to try to solve that first thing this morning. The drop game is broken. So there are double drops. We'll give you about 30 seconds to play the drop game, but I'm going to turn it off again. And you know what? After we solve this kata, I think this should be like a 4Q even, because I'm going to tell you, like, I did some research. Why is it broken? Because my code is horrible. I think I have 2 event listeners for, potentially an event listener that gets added twice for Twitch chat. Yeah, so I think that's what's happening. Well, we knew that already. So I'm gonna do my best to try and solve this one. I will say that it's kind of made me mad how weird this one is, and like what weird mathematical knowledge and like even like weird computer sciencey type knowledge you would have to know to solve this one in a more performant way. So we're gonna do that, and I have some Stack Overflows up which we're gonna talk about. But yeah, we'll get into that. And yeah, Doc says I've never really understood the queue system. 1Q is all compilers and stuff. I guess that's the hardest thing in programming, but not really. I don't know. And thanks for the follow. Hello, Randono. Are we getting a live chat event? We're still... See, like... Okay, I'm live on YouTube right now, but the YouTube API, given my channel ID, is not returning any live streams. Which is also unfortunate. I feel like we're just going to hang out and sit here tonight. Like, I don't know if we're actually going to get much done. But look, I'm live on YouTube. I really am. But... for whatever reason, the YouTube API won't give me back the live ID. Oh well, let's get right into it. Hello everyone, thank you for dropping by. Let's turn off the drop game. And let's talk about this kata. So what we have done so far, and what this problem is, in particular, is finding the strongest even number in an interval. And let's say I didn't say hello to anybody. Seguitini, hello, and Daniel Garden, and Mustafa, and Spire, and Iffy, and Candy Cane, and Than, and Modulo, and Sean. Welcome everyone, and Manatee. It's been a while. Welcome back. And Majestic Guy, welcome, and thanks for the follow, Elan Mask. Elon. How about having the check outside the strongness function so you only call it for even numbers? That won't work. So Doc actually posted a really good description of why my attempts at making this a more Elin. Why my attempts at making this more performant by even like trying to memoize the strongest function is that we would need like a petabyte of storage to store all the values that we're trying to compute. Because in the tests on Code Wars, they pass in really, really big numbers. And hello, David Snyder. Welcome. Hi, Alka. And Molson. So, okay, what the problem is. So you are given a range of 2 values. Low and high. And you need to calculate the strongness of every even number within that range. And now the strongness of a number is how many times it can be divided by 2 until it becomes odd. So the strongness of 12 is 2, because you can divide it by 2 twice before you get an odd number 3. The strongness of 16 is 4, because you can divide it by 2 4 times before you get an odd number 1. So for every number in the range that we're given, like between 1 and 2 or between 5 and 10, we have to calculate the strongness of every number, and we must return the number that has the biggest strongness value in that range. And the simplest, like, naive solution is actually fairly simple, right? We have this fairly simple function called get strongness for a given value, right? So strongness starts off at 0. We're going to keep iterating while our value is not divisible by 2. If it is divisible by 2, we divide it by 2, and then we increment the strongness. We're going to see how many times we divided by 2. At the end of it all, we have the strongness, right? Easy. However, for really, really big numbers, this takes a very long time. And especially if you have really big ranges of values. We tried doing that. I think my last effort was trying to keep track of what we've calculated so far. And there's like this mathematical thing that the strongness of 2n is the strongness of n plus 1. So I was trying to figure out, okay, if we have already calculated the strongness of n plus 1, or if we've already calculated the strongness of 2n, we can look that up and use the n plus 1. Regardless, it doesn't work. And actually, if you look at the comments on Code Wars, there's all kinds of people commenting like, why doesn't my code work? Like, it works, but it says it's timing out. They don't understand that for very, very large values, you're using potentially a lot of memory. And if you were watching earlier, we tried different ways of memoizing it, but basically our heap would just run out of memory and the program would crash for really, really large numbers. And let's see what Doc does have to say. Yeah, so int max is actually 2 to the 53. To correct it from earlier. So that's 2 to the 53 places in memory that we're trying to store like a pre-calculated value. So yeah, we run out of memory very fast. And hello, Benjack. Clash of Code time, yeah. Import sysmath, strongest even. Math.log of the max size of the system. N plus 1. Okay, Amr has it. I'm guessing that would do it in Python. And Doc is saying the approach of checking the smallest range and odd multiple of large to small powers of 2 does work well, or you can search small to large. Cool. And I'm about to show you the Stack Overflow that I found, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna implement it this way, Doc. And the reason being is because I don't understand it, and because I feel like it's just not a good use of my time. I have an approach that I'm gonna try. I don't know if it's gonna not time out, but it's pretty interesting. We'll try that, and then we'll get on the Clash of Code. Furry Energy says, I just started learning Vim yesterday. I've never coded so slow. Yeah, typically, if you stick at learning it and learning all the keyboard shortcuts and everything, you'll get faster. And welcome, the real Pygon. Hello, hello. If we're getting our one-liners out, I'm just gonna ignore it. Like, I don't like the fact that this is technically the problem we're solving is fairly easy, right? Pretty straightforward. One optimization we tried was instead of doing divided by 2, we did our bit shifting. But is this bit shifting? Something's happening to potentially speed up the operations, but even that wasn't enough. We're going to finish this kata and then we're going to do code clashes, yeah. Why would incrementing by 2 not solve it? Just skip the odds. That's fine, but it's still a whole lot of numbers. I did apply for partner, Boobies. I did. And thanks for the follow, Ray. Vim is amazing if you stick with it, and you can mostly use Vim in VS Code. Yeah, there's a Vim for VS Code extension. Okay, so I will show you what I looked up on the internet. And actually, like, if you just search for strongest even number in an interval, there is a Stack Overflow post where somebody asked about this exact problem. Yeah, Modulo Divide says, this definitely seems like something that has a math trick. And so somebody posted about this exact problem. They're trying to solve it in Java, and they're basically like, why am I running out of memory? What can I do better? Like, I tried to have a hash map. Yeah. And so with 2 very large numbers in terms of the range, their solution exceeds 16 seconds of time, and it probably doesn't even complete after 16 seconds. And on Code Wars, it can't take longer than 13 seconds, I believe. And if you look at the top answer, they throw down some math. They say the strongness of a value x is n when x is represented as k times 2 raised to the n power. Knowing that, we can check all powers of 2 such that we have a range where k times 2 raised to the n power. That's great and all, but I'm trying to think, how can we actually calculate a number times some power of 2? Would we have to calculate all of them? And if you look at the code that they wrote, I don't understand what's happening here. They're using integers because it is Java, so technically we could use like math.ceiling and math.floor in JavaScript. But regardless, I don't know what's happening here. So I'm not going to try to implement it this way. Yeah, and so what Doc is saying, and this is what we tried to do earlier, we tried to hash like all the values that we've computed before, we tried to put them basically in an object like a hash map so that we wouldn't have to calculate them again. But in doing so, you're using exabytes of memory. I mean, your program crashes before you get to that high, but basically you run out of memory. Not Booby says, my $4.99 is ready. I want the first sub badge. Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll be fun. When I enable it, everyone will have like the founder badge and such. So yeah. If you're gonna subscribe. I don't know if you're gonna. Search for multiples of 2 raised to the I in the range for I between 1 and 63. Oh. But I guess it doesn't have to be, because what I was seeing in their description here, it was some value times 2 raised to some value. And then whatever the 2 is raised to the power of, that is technically the strongness of the number. Regardless, this is the really big range that we can test it with to see if our program is slow or not. So here's right. So right now my code runs just fine. It can print those things out. But if we try to do the same thing with this really big range and these really big numbers, watch what happens. I mean, technically nothing happens because the program just, I mean, if you let it run long enough, it might potentially crash, but let's see. It's about to break. And if I run the code here in the terminal, wait, that's not right. What did I do wrong? Okay, my function is even wrong. I think if we go back to like the first one that I implemented, let me take a quick stretch. And actually, is this working yet? Okay, it's finally working. I have been coding for professionally like a little over 10 years. And overall, probably like 15-ish years. That code is searching the smallest odd multiple of powers of 2 in the range, just phrased differently. Okay. Nice, I appreciate that. What's up, Andrew Lane? Mustafa. Yeah. The biggest range is 0 and 2 raised to the 52nd power. Forgot the function name. Did I call the function? Oh, you're right. I didn't actually call the function. What did I call the function? Yeah, you're totally right. Strongest even is the name of the function. All right. We'll save that. And now when we try to run it, it's just going to sit here forever. Eventually it might run out of memory, but it's just going to sit there. Right? Okay. Now, here's my grand idea. Yeah, thank you. I didn't invoke the function. I didn't. You got it. We called it. And yeah, I'll link you to the problem real quick. But here's my grand idea. In doing all of this Google searching, what I found was, and one of the other suggestions that actually came in from Larry NY earlier, was that the strongness of a number is the number of trailing zeros when that number is represented in binary. And so earlier we got this message from Larry NY. Check him out, Larry NY on Twitch. Sorry, just coming in. Isn't this just the number of trailing zeros in the binary? So he said that like right at the end of the stream. So what I found in doing some searching is this person posted on Stack Overflow a way to find the number of trailing zeros in a value by just doing a lookup. So they have an array of the possible number of trailing zeros. They have this lookup that uses mod, and then you just pass in a number, and you get the number of trailing zeros in the binary representation of that integer. So this is great. Math.clz32 exists for leading zeros. Not sure if there's one for trailing. Yeah, and the thing is, we could also try to solve this using like the toString method. So if we get like a really big number, well, any number in JavaScript, you technically can get the binary representation of it, but even that is going to use up too much memory because we're turning them into strings, which takes up more memory. So if you do toString 2, base 2, you could see the number of trailing zeros. In this case, there's none because this is an odd number. But let's go up by 1. There's 1 trailing zero, so this is the for this particular number, the strongness is 1. And if we look at this value as of what it's supposed to be in this range, look at all those trailing zeros, and that's the largest one in that range. So we could turn it into a binary representation and then count the number of zeros on the end, but this also uses up way too much memory because for every value we're creating strings. And Doc says CPUs can't count trailing zeros on a single CPU. I don't think JavaScript can do it though. Oh, in a single cycle, yeah. After solving kata, yes, Majestic Guy's got it. MDN has a function for counting trailing zeros. Can you link me, Alka? But okay, link me and maybe we'll try that. But what I want to try is this. So I mean, this is written in Java, but we can convert it to JavaScript. So instead of and actually I'm gonna kill Quokka. So instead of trying to turn it into binary and count the zeros, we're just going to use this built-in function. Not built-in function, this lookup. And really what we want is a simpler function. Like, well, actually, let's hold on to this. We're going to comment this out and try to write a function that just uses the lookup to get the number of trailing zeros and see if we can do it in a fast enough amount of time. The problem isn't the speed, it's the number of things you need to test. Okay, we're going to comment out our previous code. And basically, we still want a loop. So we get the strongness. We're going to say we'll have some function to get the strongness. And then if the strongness is greater than the largest strongness, we have found it. This is the basic algorithm, but we need this get strongness function. And for that, we're going to use that, that function we found on Stack Overflow. Get strongness for a value. Hello, free debugs. We need this lookup array. Yeah, and this is JavaScript, so we need square brackets. We're going to call this lookup, and this is going to be square brackets here. So we're converting that Java code we found into JavaScript. So we have our lookup, and then we just need to return the lookup with the value modded into that array. So we'll say value, negative value. New camera. No, not a new camera, but I placed my light differently. So it gives me a little bit of a shadow. Wait, one side has a shadow. I and negative I is giving me problems with numbers greater than 32-bit. Okay, so this might not work, but we're going to try it. So basically, we call get strongness. That just looks up the strongness in this array very simply. And if we run this on our code, it works. Yeah, we get back the value. So will this work and not time out on Code Wars? I don't know. Let's try it. If it does time out, I give up. I'm not going to try anymore on this one. And that's it. I realize we could do the mathematical type solutions, but I don't it's beyond me. We could figure it out. I don't know. Okay, here goes the attempt. The biggest strangeness is 63 for 64-bit integers. What I'm saying is the big O of find strongest function of O of 1. Don't try optimizing it. Yeah. Okay, so we still exceeded the timeout. It still took, even with this lookup, where we're not even doing successive division, we're just looking it up. We're going through every single value in the range and looking it up looking up the strongness in the array. It still breaks. Or not, I mean, it doesn't break, it just doesn't do it in a fast enough amount of time. So how can we count the trailing zeros? Let's see if this is there. And good evening, my new brain, and hello, I'm unhot. We want trailing zeros. Does this have trailing zeros, Alka? Count trailing ones. Oh, here it is. Count trailing zeros. So you take in a number, do the stuff, and then get back the number. Would this be faster than our lookup? I don't know. Can I try the first even number in the range and increment by 2? Yeah, I mean, that could speed this up a little bit. So, we could say, like, let start is if in is our start. So if in mod 2 is equal to 0, then we start with in. Otherwise, we start with in plus 1. So yeah, that could do it. So we'll start at start, and then we'll increment by 2 every time. So that's what Spire is saying is basically instead of looking at all numbers, we only look at the even numbers. This is a 5Q. Or is it, no, this is a 6Q, which I very much disagree with. Yeah, it's a 6Q. So let's see if this is a little bit faster because we're not looking at all numbers, we're only looking at even numbers. Let's see. Antivirus blocks the Twitch player? Really? This is not a 6Q. Yeah, Q is, yeah, that's the difficulty. Okay, so that didn't work. Last ditch effort is to try this trailing zeros calculator. So we're gonna have a different get strongness function. That does something like this. Actually, I mean, this technically is the strongest. This gets the number of trailing zeros. We're just going to rename this function get strongness. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it still works. Let's see if this does not time out. Whoa. All right, does it work? It works for basic values? Yes. Does it work for the big ones? Okay, Doc is saying, just to be clear, there's nothing you can do to make get strongness work. It's the number of iterations in that for loop that's the problem. You're potentially counting up from 0 to 2 to the 53rd, which is a very big number. Yeah, so we're always going to time out. The only way to calculate this is with some maths. Get strongness is fast. Done. And so actually, let's take a look at the one-liner that Doc sent us a little bit ago. Where is it? Here we go. And let's plug this var. Yeah. Sad face from var. I mean, we could have just done that. It's still fine. Okay, so that doesn't work. We're gonna comment these out. Set timeout for 10 minutes. And we're gonna try Doc's one-liner here. Strongest even. It takes him im and in. I'm gonna unminify this. Here we go. Oh, and we're using big ints. Oh, geez, what's even happening here? We have some bit shifting. This is actually the return value there. This goes there. Oh, wow. The thing about var is, look how fast that worked. The thing about var is, it's like the old way of doing things. And typically when we're writing code, when we wrote var, we probably meant something like let is the thing. Big number. Yeah, these are big numbers. So this code works and it's instant. And we're using this whole in plus 1 thing. We have a lot of comments in here, but here's the thing. I give up. I'm throwing the towel in. I'm done with this problem. And I'm not going to submit Doc's solution. I am just going to leave this as is. We're not going to get the points for it. We're done. 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 Close all the tabs. I'm rage quitting this one. So the person that submitted this, I'm just going to leave a comment. This is very hard to optimize. Joy? I tried solving this in, what episode are we in? 46? No, the thing, if I attempt Doc's solution, I'll get the points for it. Yeah, I actually I can forfeit and view solutions. I believe I can do that. Let me go ahead and do that. What was it? Yeah, 46. Episode 46. I tried solving this in episode 46. Easy to solve, hard to optimize. I give up. You win. Is there like a white flag? Yeah, raising the white flag. I surrender. There we go. And if I go back into train again, I think I can forfeit. It's actually it's not though. If you don't understand the maths, it's not very simple. Unlock solutions. This will cause you to forfeit your ability to earn honor/rank in this kata. Are you sure? I think this is the first time I have ever done this. We need to play some sad music. What's that like trumpet sad song when somebody dies? Coding tantrum with CJ. Sad trumpet song. Oh yeah, taps. That's the one. Oh, I know it's not. Is it? Oh, I know it's not. Is it? I did it. I did it. Okay. All right, I've revealed solutions. We've given up, and I like what Greg has said. We can rename the stream to Coding Tantrum with CJ instead. We want to see it. Doc solution absolutely does work. I believe it. Like, so I tested it on this really large number right here, in my terminal. Just watch how fast it is. Done. Done. So doc solution definitely does work. No. All right, yeah, we're raising the white flag. Let's take a quick stretch. So let's see what people's solutions are. So, we have the value in step equals 1, while current plus step is less than im. Step times equal 2. If current plus step mod step times 2 equals 0, increment by step. Finally, return current. I don't know what's happening here. There's maths. If we look by newest, somebody might have submitted doc's solution. So here's one min. Take math.floor of math.log of im, which is the upper bound. And while that is greater than 0, we take 2 and raise it to the power of that thing, and then decrement it after it's been raised to that power. We take the floor of im divided by the value. Doc submitted doc. Yeah, there's doc. Nice. So we know that it works. We take the floor of im divided by value, and see, I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on because there's a lot of maths involved here. Cool. Wait. They count in this one. They counted the trailing zeros. Yeah, and great work to Doc. Shout out to Doc for getting this one going. But look at this one. So send it to binary. Replace anything at the beginning that basically get the trailing zeros. Parse it back into a binary. Okay, I mean, with this, candidate equals binary.replace. Hello, Nero. Good to see you too. You should have kept it running until I got lucky and it didn't time out. It was probably still going to time out because they check it with really large ranges of numbers. Have to convert to binary and then count the trailing zeros. So that's what I tried to do. Or did I? No, I just used the lookup, which would automatically get the trailing zeros. And I don't know why this is faster than that and is able to work with larger ranges. Does anyone know what's going on here? Replace anything that is not something followed by a 1 followed by 0 or more zeros. Yeah, it's not a 6Q. It's definitely not a 6Q. And it looks like they did the same thing here. Okay, we're done looking at this. Let's play some Clash of Code. And hello all you YouTube people. Well, thank you, W3 Develops. Everyone watching on YouTube, feel free to join us over here on Twitch. Um, there's more emotes over here for the most part. Hello, Mary Jo. Welcome to the show. You just missed me throwing a temper tantrum about a particular code kata that I did not like. And what we're going to do now is we're going to forget about all of that, and we're going to play coding game. Strip a binary number to 1, then only zeros. Oh. Okay. But still, I don't know how that solution didn't time out and mine didn't. I'll be streaming for at least 2 more hours, I would say. We're going to get a lot of clashes in. Here we go. So if you're new to... All right, we're done with that. We're moving on. Clean the slate. We're going to do something else. If you're new to coding game and Clash of Code, this is competitive programming, and we're going to generate a puzzle. I'm going to put the link in the chat. The first 11 people to click the link get to join in on the challenge, and there are 3 possible modes. We won't know what it is until the challenge starts. You either have to be the fastest person to solve it in the shortest amount of code or the smallest number of characters, or reverse mode is tricky. They give you the inputs and the outputs, and you have to guess what code to write based on those inputs and outputs. So I'm going to generate a private clash. I'm going to send the link right now. Anyone can join, but I suggest, or I ask, that after you have joined at least one, you do not join another one, so you give someone else a chance to join as well. There's Alka. Welcome to the show. And NeoJ, and Dave, and Dan, and Andrew, and Amr, and Sulo, and David, and Unhot. Oh yeah, and if you want to play, like, because we're going to do at least 4 rounds of this. So if you do want to play, be sure to sign up on codinggame.com so you can be ready when the next link goes out. Is there a way to rewind during the stream? You can click on the videos tab. So like if you go to my page, click on videos, and the most recent live stream should be right there, that one. And you can rewind. All right, so this is fastest mode. You have 15 minutes, but the first one to solve it wins the round. Let's see what we got to do. And I will say, this is competitive, but just take it easy. Like, if you join, you have 15 minutes. Do your best. And what's really fun about this is people can choose different languages. So I'm going to solve it with JavaScript, but people like to choose Python or Java or different things like that. And it's always fun to see the solutions in other languages as well. Turtle ham. All right. Wait, what? Oh, right there, turtle ham. Given 2 strings of the same length, your task is to transform one into the other by changing one character at a time from left to right. For example, if the input is bubblegum and turtle ham, the transformation goes as follows. Bubblegum, tubblegum, turblegum, turtlegum, turtle hum, turtle ham. I see. And you need to print out every step in the process. That's really funny. So you basically are given your starting string and your ending string, and you need to log out every step in the process. Okay, I think I know what we need to do. So we have our and so here's the thing on coding game, this read line is just built into the editor. That's actually going to read in the input. So this first one is going to be the source, and the next one's going to be the target. I want a variable that's like current, and then I'm going to assign that just to be source. And this should be a copy because it's a string. That's how primitives work, right? So this should give us a copy of the source. Hopefully. It should. Now we're going to have a for loop that goes from I equals 0. So we're going to start at the beginning of the string, while I is less than the target length, or really the source length. We increment I on every iteration. And then what we need to do is, I guess first up, we do need to log out bubblegum. So we need to log the source. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. On coding game, you can use print. They offer this up to you. It's the same thing as console log. A for loop? Yeah, we're going to use a for loop. And so we're going to print source, because that's our first iteration. We're then going to replace a letter. So we're going to say, Okay, this is where it gets tricky. So actually what I want to do is I want to do source dot slice. So I want to turn that into an array, so that way I can replace the values and then log it out. So we'll say current at I is going to equal target at I. Splice. Yes, thank you, not slice. Wait, no. Slice. Don't I want slice? Don't I? Split. I want split. Split is what I want. So I'm gonna and I've turned it into an array. We're gonna replace that value in the array at that index. Split. Yeah, split is what I wanted. I wrote a rat. And then we're going to just print the current one, but we're gonna print it joined together on the empty string. And so that should replace one letter at a time. Print each one. Let's see. And we broke it. So we got bubblegum, tubblegum, tubblegum, turblegum, turtlegum. Oh, wait. It's printing way too much. Yeah, the last challenge shook me. Split the target also? I don't think I should have to. I mean, really, we could say current at length. So in JavaScript, you can actually use... Oh, I see. So what Doc is saying, if the value is already the same, we skip that step. I think that's what it is. Yeah, we only print if it changes. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do that right here. If current... Reading chat is cheating. Yeah, but has somebody already solved it? Let's see. Yeah, Andrew and Alka have already solved it, so I'm not worried. So if current at I does not equal target at I, then we do the thing. Okay, so we only log it if it changed. There we go. So that solved that one. Okay, all of the test cases are good. I'm gonna go ahead and submit. 4th place, Dan Garden got in like a few seconds before I did. The esoteric syntax. You know what? I bet Alka used a continue statement. Yeah, Alka loves a continue statement in a for loop. I do not. But yeah. Cool. The result was really confusing me. It did say nothing despite having log stuff. I just didn't print out the target at the end. I think the wording is weird. It'll say expected nothing got something. So it was expecting to not see anything, but you gave it something instead. That's what that means, which is a little weird. All right. Yeah, we did it though. Alka, continue club membership revoked. Oh, you didn't use continue? Okay. So there's a few more people still clashing. We're gonna let them finish up. I'll go ahead and start another challenge. I think. Should I start another challenge or should I wait for this one to finish before I start another one? But we are gonna review everyone's solutions. We are definitely going to do that. In the for loop, something like console.log array.splice 0 splice? This would print spaces though if you did a comma. You'd have to concatenate it. What is there not to like about continue? Optimization 101. It's kind of like a go-to statement in that it can make the code hard to follow, because a continue statement in a for loop tells you to basically not look at the rest of the code in the for loop and then just go back to the beginning. And it can be confusing in terms of like understanding the control flow, like the flow of the program. Read the code meanwhile. I don't want to spoil it for anybody else that's still clashing. We're gonna let them clash. You still have 7 minutes. Yeah, you can use C#, Java, C++, C, there's a ton of them. A return early in a for each, for instance. Okay, so if the letters are the same, you just return from the for each. Cool. I spoiled it when I wrote it. Did I though? Let's see. I don't think I did. All right, we're gonna let people keep clashing. We're gonna start another one. And when that one is finished, we'll go look at the solutions from the previous one. But I don't want to spoil it for those of you that are still clashing. Okay. And again, if you participated in this last one, don't click the link. Let somebody else participate, please. But here comes the link now. I finished quick. Yeah, so it took me 5 minutes. I had to understand it. I didn't know what was going on. Salty and Untold and Harrison and I Hate Him and Nero, welcome. Andrew, if you wait for it to fill up. Like, if you don't see it filling up, wait for the last slot. If no one picks the last slot and it's close to the end time, anybody that participated in the last one, you can participate in this one too. Welcome, JMO. Send the link again. Yes. We need a version that does more than 10 players. We absolutely do. Like, it would be fun to do an unlimited amount of players, right? Like, just everybody that wants to, and then there's just a leaderboard, and it might get down to, like, the millisecond if it's the fastest mode. We had talked about trying to make a multiplayer game version of Code Wars, but in this style. We don't know how we'll do it. Why not build it? I've always thought, like, creating something that executes someone else's code is, like, it's tricky. I'm sure they have, like, sandboxes and different things you can use, but then you have to have, like, pretty beefy servers that can run people's codes. Yeah, so famous last words. How hard can sandboxing untrusted Node.js code be? Exactly. And welcome Fishy Dev and Benzon and Manu. There's 2 more slots. I'll say Alka and Andrew, if you want to join, it's probably okay. I don't know if we're going to get 2 more slots in there. Let's go. And yeah, there's still 5 more minutes on that challenge. Okay, reverse mode. So this is interesting. We're given the input and the output, and we have to guess what code to write to get that to work. So we're given this input and this output. So given this input, that's our output. Okay. Show me a sandbox and I'll show you a CVE. David says, I'm glad I skipped this one. I think I know what it's asking for. Yeah, I know exactly what it's asking for. We gotta be the fastest one to solve it. Go, 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 go. So we want to take all the letters in the message, and then for every single one, we're gonna get some count. We're gonna reduce it. So we're gonna get some count, and then each individual letter. And then we'll say if that letter matches some regular expression, then we want to return count plus 1. Otherwise, we return count. Count starts off at 0. Nice. So I got it in second place in 1:25. Alka did it in 54 seconds. And so for anyone that was participating in the previous clash, be sure to click share code when you're ready, so that way we can look at your solution and take a look. So you still have 3 minutes. And Andrew somehow missed. Well, you did it faster, but you got a 75%. You didn't get them all right. Yeah, so you didn't really do it. How to play. So in a few minutes, we're going to start another challenge. And I'll send the link in the chat, and you can click the link to join that challenge. But in the meantime, go to codinggame.com, and you can sign up to be ready to join the next challenge. Any ideas on encrypting zipped files and vice versa in Node? I've never really done that. I'm sure it's possible, but I've never really done it. All right, we're still clashing. And I will say, what was the last? So this last one that we just completed was given a string that potentially has spaces and extra weird characters. You need to count the number of alphabetic characters in that string. Only A through Z, no other special characters. And then the one before that, you were given a start string and an end string, and you needed to convert the start string to the end string, but log out every step along the way. But there are people still clashing. We got about 2 minutes left on that one. And so the most people that finished first did it in JavaScript, and people that did it in Python are towards the end. Yeah, and it was reverse mode, exactly. So we saw an input and an output, and we had to guess what code to write. Why doesn't Coding Game tell me which one failed? You don't usually get to see that in the final one. Clash of Code co-op version, like a pair programming. A solution made up of multiple functions. Each person can see all the code, but only edit their function. That actually sounds really fun. We'd have to break problems down into 3 functions. But that would be really cool. So if it's multiplayer, so you could have like a 3v3. Each team, they only get to write 1 function. I like it. Put this in the ideas channel. I don't think we have an ideas channel on Discord, but let's create one. I think, do mods have permissions to create channels? I think they do. Is there an API for sandboxing code? I looked into Replit, so we may actually be able to use some like an existing service, though their API is it's like in alpha. It's not fully functional, but I believe Replit actually does have an API for executing code, so we could use that. But then we're dependent on that service. I can edit channels, not add. Okay. Well, this first clash was over. No, you have 35 seconds. Never mind, you have 35 seconds. So I'm gonna add a new channel. Where should I put it? Let's put it in just discussion. Create a channel. Oh. Ideas. Hey there. Andrew's already in the ideas channel. Let's see on permissions. All right, I just removed the everyone permission. Can people still access it? I don't think so. I think only mods can right now. I think I need to can't see it. Here's what I need to do. I need to make the seedling role can read and send messages and read the message history. And everyone above that should be able to see it. All right, should be unlocked now. Yeah, there you go. F for the Discord. That channel should be good to go though. All right, this clash, the first clash we did was complete. Actually, and we have an emote for that from Frankerface. Press F, like that. Okay, so this was the first challenge. We had to go from bubblegum to turtle ham, and let's see how Andrew Lane did it. So read in the first line, read in the second line, create a variable called res that's equal to the first line, print out the first line, and then for every letter in the target string, we have a temp variable with the current. I was 1 character away from the answer for like 5 minutes. Dang. Did you figure it out? I'll take a look at your code. This is the Better Twitch TV and Frankerface APIs for those emotes. And thanks for the follow, Dilo. Okay, so we have a temp variable equal to the current output string. Assign the output string to itself as an array. Set the value at that. Oh no, this is not L. This is actually I. This is the index in the string. So the result at that index equals the target at that index. Put it back together as a string. And if it does not equal the original one, our temp one does not equal the original one, then we print it. There's a lot of, you did a lot of extra steps, Andrew. I wrote a rat. What is a rat? Is that something I should know? A term for something? But you did a lot of extra steps. A really awesome thing. Okay. Yeah, a lot of extra steps, but you got it done. Great work. All right, let's see how Alka did it. Yeah, I like it. Didn't even really need to turn it into an array. But so if the source at that index does not equal the target at that index. Someone in the chat recommended this. So basically we just slice the target, we get the number of characters in the target as to where we are, and we append that with the source up to those number of characters. I like that. Basically we're slicing the beginning and the end of the string as we move along until ultimately we only slice the end string. Yeah. I wonder if anyone's Googles the answer and pasted in when playing. You probably could. There's definitely nothing stopping you, and you might be the fastest to do it. So yeah. Everyone's honest, surely. All right, let's see how Dan Garden did it. So print out the original one. Yeah, so this was some extra splits. Because you didn't really need to split it because strings in JavaScript, you can still use bracket notation to access the characters. But log it out for every value. If it's not the same as before, reassign it and logged the joined version. Very good. We saw the way I did it. Turn the current one into an array. The main reason to turn it into an array would be so that you can reassign or like to change the values inside of the string or the array of characters, because a string in JavaScript, you cannot modify. Strings are immutable. So I had to put it into an array so that I could change the value at each index. And thanks to Doc in the chat for this tip. If it's not equal to the previous one, that's when we actually reassign it and log it out. And thanks for the follow, Mr. Destructoid and Hat. Welcome to the show. Let's see how David did it. David did it in Python in 5 minutes. Import system and math. We create an array of the source input. So this is a way of like taking that string input, and I guess it's kind of like spreading because you're using the memory location into an array. Anybody that knows Python, let me know if that's right. Basically, it's like take the string and put it into an array. And then we have the target, spreading. Is it spreading though? Like spreading in JavaScript? Wasn't able to remove the spaces, dang. Yeah, I would assume that's kind of like that. Yeah, the Python version of spreading the input. Okay, so we take the string, put it into an array. Our target is just a string, and then we initially print the empty string joined with the source value. So join apparently on a string takes in an array of characters and outputs that to a string. And then for every index in the range, which is the length of the source. So every index in the length of the array, if it was not equal to the previous one, reassign it in source, which is an array, and then join it all back together and print it out. It's very similar to how we did it in JavaScript. It's just a little more Python-y. We have this like range and length function, an interesting way to spread it. Yeah. And thanks for the follow, Spyray. In Python, trying to change a string errors. In JavaScript, it just does nothing. Okay, let's see how Unhot did it, also in Python. OMG, I wasted so much time because I forgot to remove a print, and I had it right. Hi, everyone. Cool. So we take in the source and the target. Source and underscore target become a list. I guess this is like a built-in data structure, probably similar to an array where you can reassign the values inside of it. So create a list from both of those strings. Print the original. For every value in the range that is the length of the string. If it's equal to itself, pass. So this is kind of like the continue statement in JavaScript, like just keep on going in the for loop. But if it wasn't equal, reassign it in the source. We have our result string. Oh, interesting. So we reassign it, and then we build up the string character by character. So instead of using the join function like David did, we're just manually building that string back up based on the array, and then print out the string. List is a Python array. So is this the same thing as doing square brackets? Is square brackets a shorter version of doing list in Python? And thanks for the follow, Christian. Oh, you kept trying list.join. I see. List allows you to add more elements unlike arrays. I don't know. I feel like... so in JavaScript arrays, you can add things to them. Under the hood, it's doing extra things. Okay, so a list is the same thing as square brackets with the star. Cool. Very cool. NeoJ did it in Python as well. Let's see. Read both lines. We turn both of them into a list. Ting. What does ting mean? But we take the source, which is R, and put it into ting, and we print out the source. Then for every value in the range, I reassign the letter. If it doesn't equal ting, which is like the source or the previous version, possibly a typo of thing. No, I wanna think that they wrote ting on purpose. And if it doesn't equal the previous, meaning it has changed, we print it out and then we reassign ting so we know if it changed or not. Very interesting. The real Python did it in PHP with 100%. Let's check it out. Stream get line standard in. So yeah, this is the built-in way of getting the input, just like in JavaScript we have a read line. Okay, so we have a for loop that goes from 0 to the length of the input source. If it's not equal to each other, we echo the substring. So this is actually very similar to the slice method that Alka used in JavaScript. So we take the substring of the target up to a point, and then the substring of the source up to a point, until eventually we just take the entire target. Very cool. Thank you, the real Python. This was cool to see in PHP is not bad. PHP is what it is. It is what you make of it. And this is some good PHP, right? Right? Let me see if I missed anything. And thanks for the follow, Cosmic, if I didn't say thank you. Took me so long to figure out that it only prints if it changes. Yeah. Luckily, the chat told me, because otherwise I wouldn't have figured that out. Yeah, it's intentional. Interesting. It told me I sent something to you. Oh, I don't know what you sent me. Harrison Pickering says, this is a good way to see how you can end up overcomplicating a simple problem. After submitting and looking at other solutions, I'm disappointed in myself. Don't be disappointed. You have learned something today. Just like a different way of thinking about the problem. Because if we think about it, there's probably 3 different types of solutions. So this type of solution is put it into an array, reassign the values, and then print them out. This type of solution is, as we go along, just take subsections of the source and the target. And we've seen, I think, 2 other solutions like that. My solution was put it into an array and reassign the values in the array, and then print it out. And then in other languages, it's about the same thing. Like this one is reassign the value in the array and then join it. But the real Pygons is take a subsection of each string and print them out. So yeah, different ways to think about it. All right, Amr got 0%. Let's see what you submitted. Take the source, take the input, print the original. So why didn't this work? Oh, it might be, so that this is very similar to a slice, and your ranges might have been wrong here, right? Go from 0 up to I, and go from I up to 0. I wonder why you got 0%. This looks fine to me. Looks like C. PHP isn't bad, but it can't be more ugly, says Seneca. Yeah. My 3 failings: only echoing the changes, printing the start value, and I equals 1. But you figured it out. You did get 100%. So you gotta start at the right place. Make sure that you actually output the things, and only output if it's changed. Yeah. All right, let's see. Payroll, what'd you do? Get the 2 inputs, turn them into a list. 0 goes up to T. Replace source at count with target at count. That's not quite what they were asking for, because if the letter was repeated, it would have been replaced in multiple places. Okay, so that one was fun. This next one was, we were only given the inputs and the outputs, and ultimately we had to count the number of letters A through Z, either uppercase or lowercase, in the input string. Oh, thank you, Cosmic. Fishy Dev says, I'm happy because I knew how to reason it, but there's some things I wasn't able to do. Yeah. No drop game. It's actually broken. I'm probably going to take a break. Let's see, how long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for an hour. I'll probably take a break in 10 minutes, and we'll turn the drop game on. 2 drops for the price of 1. It looks how you handle a buffer in C. Interesting. Yeah, and you had to print the original once, and then the target as the last one. Yeah. I have no idea what went wrong. It looked right to me. Maybe it was something to do with the slice, or maybe it wasn't being printed as a string. It was being printed as an array of characters. It looked good. I don't know. What's with all the money in PHP? The dollar signs? That's how you define variables, isn't it? Yeah, so anytime you have a variable, it's a $sign. Though, do all variables have to begin with $signs in PHP? PHP is for the wealthy. That's a good one. Usurper is saying, I just started learning PHP 1 week ago and I fell in love because I used to love C. Cool. Happy to hear I am not alone in overcomplicating. Yeah, bonus double drops. Yeah. All right, this is my longer break timer. I think I'm gonna go through the solutions to the last one that we just did, and then I'll take a break. Yeah. And thanks for the follow, Hamdi. Finally converted from YouTube. Welcome to the Twitch side. Can we get some Twitch emotes, like a Twitch heart or a Twitch energy drink in the chat to welcome Elite Rose? Welcome, welcome. We make it rain in PHP. There we go, Twitch hearts. Welcome to the Twitch side, everyone. Okay, so this particular problem, we were given a string. We had to count the number of letters A through Z in that string. And you want to skip spaces and special characters. Let's see how Alka did it. Take the message, replace anything that is not A through Z, case insensitive, or case insensitive, regardless if it's uppercase or lowercase. Yeah, anything not A through Z, uppercase or lowercase, replace it with nothing, and then find the length. Very good. I did sort of the opposite. I guess I could... I didn't use a replace. I used a reduce. So in mine, I turned the string into an array so I could use the reduce method. And then I basically wrote like a type of a summing type of function so that we have our total number of characters starts off at 0. And then for every letter, if that letter is A through Z, case insensitive, increment the count. Otherwise, keep the count the same. And so it looks at every single letter in the string. If it's A through Z, the count goes up. If it's not, it doesn't. And we have our sum total of count. First clash, I was nervous. Well, we'll take a look. So Shine On got 100%, third place in Python. Take in the input. We have the output string that starts as nothing. For every letter in the input, look at that. Built into Python, letter.isAlpha. And so if it is an alpha, we append it to the output string. And then at the end of it all, we just print the length of the string. Very good. In this case, we probably could have just used like a number counter. So like a number that starts at 0, and if it is alpha, increment the number, and then just print out the number. But both ways work. Great work. And thanks for the follow, Elite Rose. Sounds like a filter then a count. Yeah, it's kind of both. It's a simultaneous filter and count with a reduce, but with a single iteration. And yeah, anybody else that's submitted, be sure to click the share code button so we can take a look at how you did. All right, I hate 'em did JavaScript, and they said match all the characters in the message that are A through Z and uppercase A through Z. And if there is a match, if there are matches, return the length. Otherwise, 0, because it could be possible that there were no alpha characters. Well, how would I say not alphanumeric? Alpha? Alphabetic? Alphabetic characters. Return the length of the ones that were matched, otherwise 0. Very good. JMO did it in Python. Let's see. Take in the input. Yeah, so this is exactly the same as Shine On, but instead of appending it to a string, we're just keeping track of the count and incrementing each time. It's pretty cool. Andrew Lane, again with the 75%. I don't know what you're doing, Andrew, but you're doing just enough to not get all the points. But let's see what you did. Replace anything that is... replace any white space or any digit. Is that what that does? Let me know if I'm reading this regular expression right. Word. Replace any word or digit with nothing. How can you get points for that? I don't know what's happening here. I don't know how that could actually work. This was enough. A through Z GMI. Yeah, I think that's all you would have need to match if it was alphanumeric or alphabetical. Slash W is non-word. That's what I thought. Yeah, so if it's not a word or it's a digit, replace it with nothing. Non-alphanumeric. Well, he got 75%, so his program is right 75% of the time, which in some cases is all you need, right? Just run it again. Maybe you'll get the right answer. Harrison needs some improvement. That's okay. Let's see what you did. Read it in. Split it into... Oh, okay, I see. Split it on spaces. So you were basically looking at each individual word. And then for every word, we also have this reduce here. So the accumulator starts off at 0. That's the sum total of things that are... what's the word? Alphanumeric? No, non-alphanumeric. Alphabetical. So basically we had an input that it was like a sentence. It could have had multiple words. So this split would have put it into multiple individual words. And then if the current matches A through Z, then we grab the length, otherwise 0. I'm curious why this wouldn't work though. Alphanumerical. This looks like it would work, Harrison, because, I mean, ultimately, you didn't need to split it on the space, because technically you could have just looked at all the characters in the string itself. Yeah, I'm curious, can anyone see why this would break? Well, could it be that you need to wrap the ternary in parentheses? I don't know. /W is A through Z, 0 through 9. Python, you could probably do length, x for x in string, x is alpha. Yeah, so people used x is alpha, but you could definitely shorten it. Yeah, my brain's broke. I'm broke. Proxin is building an app using Socket.io. I want to know how I can keep track of the same user if he refreshes the page. You'd probably need, I mean, for one, you could use their IP address, but for two, you could use some sort of server-generated token that gets stored on the client, and so the next time they connect, if they have the same token, you know they're the same user. Something like that. Well, thank you, Cold Sun. Does anybody know what went wrong here? Because this looks like it would work to me. I'm gonna try running this code. Like, where would it go wrong? So if we say message equals hello, so that's 5 characters, space, it'd turn into 0. Drum roll. So this should be 8. What did I do wrong? Cannot breed property length of null. I think all you needed to do was actually wrap this in parentheses. X has already been declared. Well, you know what? Assignment to constant variable. Come on. Wrap my code in a block. I don't. Okay. So I can do this. Cheese. Okay, we're just gonna refresh the page. So we have message equals that. Coding train. What's up? How's it going? Maybe you can join the next class. We're just going through people's solutions on this one. That was it. I think that was your only issue, Harrison, is this part right here needed to be wrapped in parentheses, because otherwise it would have done current.match, which could have resulted in null, and then you're trying to get the length of null or something like that. But yeah, I think all you needed was the parentheses. You were really close though. Coding train hype. Nice. You can't get the length of nothing. Yeah. I really like your avatar, Dan. That's awesome. Cool. Is it safe to store a JSON web token in local storage? You know what? I think there's just going to be questions that I don't answer on this stream, because people ask this all the time, and I give you my answer, but there are some much better resources out there on best practices in terms of this. The short answer is If you do it right, yes, you absolutely can store a JSON Web Token in local storage, but you have to do it right. And hello, Pixa, who says, just joined the stream. Random question. Do you have a video about Vue.js localization? Not really, no. I did make this isitnewyearsday.com, and this technically has localization, but we did it in a really weird way. We didn't use an existing library. But if you go to this website and your computer is set to a different language, it should actually translate. But we ended up doing like a custom conversion function because some languages have different pluralization rules that are tricky. Some languages want to put this part of the sentence at the beginning. Yeah, and if anybody goes to the site, you can see other people's mice moving. Hello, 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 hello. Choo choo. Well, today I learned why people wrap ternary conditions in parentheses. Exactly. Great. We learned something today. There seems to be a lot of debate regarding where to store it. Yes, but I will say if you do it right, you can store it in local storage, order of operations. I'm not an expert. We should make the token timeout, right? So you can do what are called refresh tokens. So create a token. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it, but yes, there are things you can do. I'm going to post them just here in the chat. All right. Salty only got 50% in Python. Actually, I'm going to close this. But thanks for joining me in that. Salty got 50%. Interesting. This is an interesting way to go about it. So instead of using a regular expression, they have just done a string replace on all of the special values that were in the test cases, which is fine. I mean, they got it right 50% of the time, but when you click submit, it runs it against more tests. And so those tests potentially have other special characters. But this is not at all a bad solution. I mean, you would have need to account for a lot more things. But it's not, I wouldn't say this is cheating. This is like, I want to get rid of all these special characters, so I'm going to do it one at a time, and then count the number of characters that are left over. Why not? Why not? It's just you would need a lot more of these replaces because there are a lot of other special characters. It's all cheating. All right, Fishy Dev tried to do it in C#. Let's see what you got. Looks like you might have given up. So read the line and then just print the entire length. Hacker. All right, and Nero tried to do it with Python. So we have the total that starts at 0. I think what went wrong here, Nero, is this may not be accounting for uppercase A and Z, because this is just the range from A to lowercase a to lowercase z. Strategy tacticalism. Yeah, it's totally fine. All right, let's do one more just because, yeah, 10-10 for innovation. But let's do one more because Dan's here, but then I am going to take a quick break. And here's the thing. I'm going to share the link. Don't click the link until Coding Train is joined. We want to play against Coding Train, so let him join first. So here comes the link. Don't click it. Do not click it, except for Dan. Dan, he's our man. I could have whispered it to him, couldn't I have? Yeah, that's very true. All right, well, that's a different Dan. That's okay. I'm Dan. Just DM Dan. How can I DM Dan from the moderator view? He didn't get in. Oh, Coding Train. Yeah? Or is this a different Coding Train? Did you get in? Dan, can you let us know if you got in or not? Because there might have been a different Coding Train. All right. And, well, it's full. It's me. Okay, nice. So your avatar is you laughing. I always imagine that you're actually laughing right now. But regardless, this is shortest mode. So you have 15 minutes to solve this problem in the shortest number of characters. Let's figure it out. Okay. You will be given im values. Each value is an integer. You must print the highest odd number. Unless in is already odd, then print in. Let's see some examples. All right, we get a whole bunch of integers, one on each line, and we need to output... Wait, what? Yeah, and so just some pointers really quick on trying to write the shortest code. For one, if you look in the bottom right, this gives you your code size. So right now it's 222, but comments count for code size. So I would go ahead and remove the comments. That's going to reduce the amount of code. And typically the way I like to solve it is in a more verbose way, and then try to make it smaller after that. But I don't even understand what this is asking for. So an integer m for the number of integers that follow. So we're going to get like the number of lines. Okay. Hey, you stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it. Integer m is the number of integers that follow. On the next m lines, m number of integer values. The output, m lines, m integers that if integer n at line m of input is odd, then print n. Otherwise, print the next highest odd integer. I don't know what it's asking for. Oh, okay. Forget about 10. Forget about 10. We're looking at negative 64. Is that odd? No. The next highest odd value is negative 63. Okay. 71. Is that odd? Yes. Print it out. 98. Is that odd? No. The next highest odd number is 97. Okay. Whew. We figured it out. Now we just got to code it. And really, if a number is not odd, you just add 1 to make it odd. So we'll say, and really, yeah, we need to read in m. We'll say if in mod 2 does not equal 0, then we are going to print in, because it is odd. Else, we're going to print n plus 1. Now, I will mention that in on coding game here, you can use the print function instead of console log. That's going to save you some characters. But let's see if I did it right. Okay, that one's right. Okay, all those are right. Now we just got to make it really, really small. So, some pointers, remove const. Remove spaces on, whoa. Remove spaces on variable assignment. You don't actually need to parse an integer here. We should be able to just use the value itself. We're going to put readline into a variable called r, so we can use r like that. Return n plus 1 minus n mod 2. That might, okay, I'm not going to look at the chat. I'm going to do my best to do it without looking at the chat. Stop it. Stop it. I equals 0. I is less than m. I plus plus. Remove the spaces there. I could probably do this as a ternary though. Let's take a quick stretch. Whew. And thanks for the follow, King and Pedro. Welcome, welcome, welcome. wait for me to give you the answer and then beat him in a super minified answer. I figured it out. It's actually a fairly simple, like I could not understand that problem statement, but I eventually figured it out. Okay, so we have in, and then I actually don't think we need parse int here, and we can just call it r, like this. And then we could do a ternary. So we could do, so if in mod 2 equals 0, then that means it's even, and we want to print n plus 1. So I'll just do this. So we'll do in mod 2. If in mod 2 is 0, then that means false. So if in mod 2 has a value, print it. Otherwise, print n plus 1. Like that. Does while r work? It might, but you need to put it into, well, I see what you're saying. Just keep on reading input until you get no input. That might actually work. I'm gonna try that. Oh, do the ternary actually inside of the print. That's, yeah, then we only have print once. I like that. I need to stop looking at chat though, because this is cheating. So that, otherwise n plus 1. And then curly brace goes right there. So I did it in 57 characters. Does it? Oh, it broke. It broke. What did we do wrong? Found negative 641, expected negative 63. Ah. When we add 1, we actually have to parse this as a number. So we're going to use the unary plus. There we go. So that still works. And we did it in 58 characters. But I actually like Dan's idea of while read. Yeah, no worries, Doc. I'm just going to try. So this is 58 characters. Let's see if I can do it smaller. While in equals R. Print that. It works. that was a great thought, Dan. That actually works because the moment it reads like read line returns undefined, it's gonna break out of the while loop. I don't know if I can do it any better than this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 46 characters. I'm just gonna submit it. Get rid of M. Oh no, could I have done better? Oh yeah, that. I could have saved 2 characters. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what 2 characters those were, but you could have saved, two characters. So n plus 1 minus n mod 2 would have saved it. Well, no, I still would have needed to call. I still would have needed to invoke this once, because otherwise n would have been the first value on the line. It's not 5 characters. It's just 2. It's just 2. I don't need M anymore? Yeah. Ugh. Oh well. Do while? Is that shorter characters? I don't think it. I think it's more because you have to have the do part. Mine was just while. Yeah? Alright. Everyone else, you still have 7 minutes. So take your time. Make it as small as possible. Take your time. And thanks for the follow, Pedro, if I did not say it before. Oh, okay. You logged in with the not your GitHub account. Okay. Several different Dans got in. Still need the assignment from R, though. Yeah, so, well, I'll wait. We're going to wait 6 minutes before I explain my solution, and maybe somebody will see that and solve it that way. But I will say, if you look at the problem description, the first read line is the number of numbers. So you have to invoke read line once before you start invoking it and assigning it to the values. Otherwise, you're going to have a wrong first value. 4 would have been less characters than while? Oh. Because well, no, I would have needed. Let me try to write it out. No, it's not gonna work. I don't know how but okay, let me try to write it out. I don't have any way to test it because I don't have the reline function. But what we could have done is 4, 3, 4, 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you would still need to do that, right? For a for loop. Hello, Jorge. I'm doing good. You can put anything you like in the init and increment part of the for loop. Yeah, so I think you would need to do this, or this, but it's still technically 5 characters, so it's the same number of characters as while. We'll see. We got 4 minutes. Test it with 3154. Okay. I would have to, the thing is to test it, I'd have to like write a generator function called readline. Let's write a generator function. Readline. What do we have? We let values equal an array of 3, 1, -5, and 4. Oh, I see, Andrew. Yeah, that would have helped because we did the initial assignment. All right, somebody help me write a generator function. How would I make this? I could do like yield. No, actually, I don't need a generator. I could just do this. Move the body of the for loop into the decrement. Oh, okay. We're gonna get tricky with it. So let's say I have values, and I have current equals to 0, and then I have my function called readline that returns values at current plus plus. Oh, it's trying to print the document. It's gonna print it that many times. I need to change this to console log. So we get 1, -5, 5. Cool. Okay, so let's try to fix all of. Oh no. Yeah, here. So technically, we could have done this in the for loop. So we would have had for. We have our initialization, which just reads the line and gets rid of that. We have that there, and then we have the console log right here. Unexpected end of input. And I guess if we do that, then we technically would have needed curly braces to make it work. Yeah, you can't have a blank for loop, apparently. You need curly braces on it if it's empty. Would a semicolon work? Maybe. We're giving people ideas, though. So, yeah, you still have people still have 2 minutes, and nobody's beaten me yet. So technically that works. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about it because somebody's gonna use that. And thanks for the follow. I'm Lay. I'm Lay. I'm Leopard. Leopard. Oh, the Twitch counter was in the way. I'll show you in a second. Yeah, but for those of you that haven't heard of this is typically called code golf. You're trying to solve it in the smallest number of characters possible. The least number of characters. It's like regular golf where you want to have the least number of strokes to win. I don't know. I don't play golf, but that's what code golf is. So how many characters could you have saved and will forever regret? The thing is, I'm probably, how many more people? I'm at least number 3. If the 2 people that are still working on it get it in shorter number of characters, I'm still number 3, and that's okay. And also, it doesn't matter where we landed. I'm glad that I figured it out. Yeah, Yateg did it in 48. Great work. Great work. I have a par. Yeah, if I come in third, then I'm on par. But at first, what is that? Hole in one, seconds, and eagle? I don't know golf. And thanks for the follow, Course Artichoke. Fewer characters equals less code to regret. This is true. Double bogeyed. This was a fun one though. Like it took a second to figure out the problem statement, but I've been doing coding classes with Saint Plays Things, who's a mod here on the Coding Garden and on the Coding Train. And wait, did he change his name? What happened? Did he delete his account? Maybe I spelled it wrong. Saints Plays Things. But when I was playing with him, it was also David and Amr and a few other people. And because we've been doing these so much, it is giving us really hard problems. But this one wasn't so bad. All right, the clash is complete, and I got first place. So we talked about, okay, let me pull open the different solutions that I was talking about. So here, this might be the shortest. Let's actually see just how long this is, because this solution works. And if we look at this, let's just see how many characters this is. $50. That is 50 characters. I did it in 46. Oh yeah, and if we change console log back to print, 44. We could have done it in 44 characters. Yeah. Wow. Great work. This is the chat. Doc definitely did this. I think Unhot was mentioning there was like a way we could have done in plus. Yeah, let's try doing that and see if it still works. So here, this is just in plus 1 minus in mod 2. Yeah, so that still works. And if we put that in here, in plus 1 minus in mod 2. That's 41 characters. Where we were at 44. Yeah, it's 41, but it actually would have been 42 because we do need to do the unary plus on in, because in our problem it was a string. So we get that plus 1 minus in mod 2. So we could have done it in 42 characters. Okay, let's see how people did. We saw my solution. I ended up using a while loop. And thanks to what Dan from Coding Train suggested in the chat, I did what CJ did, but it failed on 0. That's why you had to have the extra line. So because the first read line is the number of times you're going to have to read line, you kind of have just a throwaway read line. Which is why I had to do that. And technically I could have removed im equals, and that would have saved me 2 characters. Yeah. You had that? Oh yeah, I don't know then. but Dan did suggest that I do this. So in equals read line. And apparently when read line returns undefined, we know that we're done reading things in. But read in the value. If it is not divisible by 2, meaning it's odd, print the value itself. If it is divisible by 2, then we want to print the next value. And I did have to add this unary plus here because in is a string, and we needed to, in order to add 1 to it, we needed to first convert it to a number. What if in is 0? I don't know. What if in is 0? What's 0 mod 2? Is that 0? Then technically it's odd. I don't think we got that, though. And thanks for the follow, Pixa. What did you do wrong, Dan? Was it potentially parsing in as a number because it was a string? All right, Jerry Code also did it in 46 characters. They did exactly what I did. Did they cheat? I don't know. But it's okay. Yeah. Ideas is still, I thought I added everyone. Do I have to? I might have to individually assign roles. Are you sure, Elka? I mean, Doc posted in there, and I see other people that are online. So I thought I had to use parseInt because 0 won't work in operations, but the 0 value it's to false. So the while loop exits. Oh. Oh. It's under discussion, Alka? It says it's locked. I'll have to look at the permissions later. Think of the golf possibilities if JS ever gets WASM. Yeah. Cheetah. Okay, let's see how you take... And actually, I don't know if Jerry Code cheated. They might have come up with this themselves, and you did great. You came up exactly with what I did, and that's awesome. All right, what did you take, do? Very similar. They just put the print on the next line. And so if in mod 2 is 0, then we're going to do in pipe 0. What does this do? I guess this converts it into an integer. This is another way of converting it into an integer, but a unary plus would have actually been a little bit shorter. And then add 1. All right, David did it in Python in 58 characters. Look at, let's try to parse this. We're storing the input function in P so we can reuse it. In the range of the first read line of P. So the first time we read line, we know how many lines there are going to be. So we have I from 0 up until that. In is equal to the number, read in the number, parse it as an integer, and then we use what Anhat mentioned earlier, in plus 1 minus in mod 2, which gives us either the number itself or the next odd number. Ideas. Yes, but plus in is shorter. Shorter code versus readability. The purpose of this challenge is not at all readability. This is all about shortest code. You would never write code like this in the real world. I would never let code like this pass a code review. You want code to be verbose and expressive and not be hard for people to understand. All right, let's see how Dan did it. Read a equals r. I think this was the trick, having to use parse int for the b+1, and that gave you quite a few extra characters by having to do parse int. So b equals parse int, and then we do the same comparison. Yeah. This is great for when you want to practice interpreting other people's spaghetti. That's true. Like trying to break down what somebody else has written. The point of code golf is not readability, yeah. How do I get around not having parse int? In my solution, I use the unary plus. So if you take any string and put a plus sign in front of it, it actually converts it to an integer. I'll show you real quick. So like if you have the string 42 and you put a plus sign in front of it, it converts it into a number. And actually not just an integer, it'll do floating point numbers too. And that's known as the unary plus. The other way to do it, which we saw Yateic do, is pipe 0. But that actually, yeah, so unary plus is fun. This converts it to an integer, which was fine for this problem because we didn't have any floating point numbers. But if you want to handle floating point strings, you should use unary plus. Yeah. Try writing an Express Server API completely in the golf style from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, and so this is the code golf way of doing it. If this code were in a code base, I would want to see like the number constructor with some string, because that works. Or you could use parse float. That's a little more explicit, like I am taking the string and turning it into a float. Or if you know you want an integer, you could use parse integer or parse int, like that. But if other people are looking at your code, it's a bit easier to understand what's actually going on when you use those. Is Discord down? Not that I know of. Unary plus. Nice. We're learning things. That's good. The first language I learned, I mean, it was probably like HTML if you want to call that a language. But the first real like programming code I wrote was probably either ActionScript in Flash or PHP. But it was a very long time ago. All right, let's see how Manu did it in JavaScript in 62 characters. They ended up just keeping it as a for loop. So read in im. Technically, you didn't need the unary plus here because in JavaScript, the less than comparison will still work even if it's a string. And then read in the number, parse it to an integer, and then because you parsed it, because you used the unary plus here, you actually did not need the unary plus right there. Yeah. And that's something you don't hear every day anymore. Yeah. My voice sounds funny. Does it? Some people were saying that. I don't know if it's Twitch or what. If people don't understand my code, they should just get better. Unhot's first programming language was on the TI-83. That's pretty cool. Like the calculator. This does not work well in C#. No, we've seen some people try to do the shortest number of characters with Java or C#. It's just so verbose. You have all the imports and the system.out.println and stuff like that. Yeah. The sound is excellent and my chroma key is amazing. Oh, thank you, Dan. I experimented with some new lighting placement this morning and it's working out. Like, you don't see very much like ghosting or shadows or anything like that. So yeah. Cool. So great work, Manu. There was a couple of extra unary pluses that would have reduced your amount of code, but looks great. Single letter variable should be the norm. No way. Hey, Greg. Greg is saying, I learned Lingo and Pascal at the same time. That makes me useless and old. Hello, Fisoon. Am I a JavaScript monk? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see how roaming did it in Python in 67 characters. Looks similar to what David did. So we have the range, which is the first read line. So input is their read line function. Read in the range, go from I up to that. In equals the next one read in. So we read the next one. And then what is going on right here? So we have, oh, okay. So this is like a list. I think this is like a tuple. or a list. We have in and in plus one in the array, and we're indexing into that array using the remainder of the division by 2. So in mod 2 equals 0. That's either going to be 0 or 1. And so we're either going to get in or in plus 1. That's really clever. Really clever. Because they're using the remainder of the division to index into the array. And I don't know, for all the... yeah, see you later, Dan. Thanks for doing the challenge with us. And have a good walk. Yeah, for all the Python people here, this is a tuple, right? Or is this a list? What are we doing with the parentheses there? And thanks for the follow, Riyadh, and I am Will. It's a tuple. Yeah, so we're using a tuple, and then we're indexing into it. Yeah, very cool. Great work, Roaming. That was very interesting. So Dan Garden also did it in JavaScript. Read it in. We're storing parseInt in a variable. That way you can reuse it, but again, unary plus is the way to go in code golf. Read it in. We've got our for loop. Assign it. Print it. Very good. Could have saved some white space. Let's take a look. Oh, thank you, King Abdesamad. Thank you very much. I am good and happy. Could they have? Yeah, they could have got rid of that space. Definitely. All right, WebDev Doug did it in 94 characters, and they were using parseInt as well. And you could have saved some characters, WebDev Doug. You don't need the spaces after the for loop or between the equal signs or any of these extra spaces in here. You could have gotten rid of those. Yeah, no worries. Yours is definitely more readable because it's a bit more spread out. Yeah. All right, Fishy Dev did it in 152 characters. Nice, very similar solution. The only thing is, in the shortest mode, you don't have to put const. You can get rid of all the extra spaces. This could have been turned into a ternary, most likely. Still, great work. And Helipak did it in 296. Yeah, so same solution, but we didn't really shorten it any. Very good. And Dave Modulo did it in Scala in 363 characters. Let's take a look. Wait, did they get... Yeah, and they did get 100%, so great work, Dave. Great work for a hamster, Fishy Dev. I'm curious in Scala if you... It looks like there are no semicolons. So it looks like it's a white space language, in a way. Maybe not a white space language. But I'm curious if you could have put things on one line rather than having all this extra stuff. Like, you definitely could have gotten rid of the comments. That would have saved you some characters. Well, let's see what Scala does. So we have a solution, which extends app. We're putting toInteger into a variable called im. So we can reuse this thing which can turn a value into an integer. Oh, no. Never mind. Readline will read it in, and strings have a built-in function called toInt. That's what's happening here. And we're storing that in im. And then we have a range that goes from 0 all the way up to im. For every single value in that range, read in the integer from the line. Like, read it in, parse it as an int. And then for every value, if it's divisible by 2, we take the value plus 1. Otherwise, the value itself. This is a super interesting... This is kind of like a ternary, but it's an if-else kind of inline. No execution brackets. I guess not. Yeah, I mean, this is invoking the function, right? Though, it's... Yeah, it is. So, readline invokes the function somehow, and then toInt invokes the function. This also invokes the function. I was thinking that potentially this was getting past the value itself, but you technically don't need it. This first map just throws out the index because we don't need it. And then we map over the actual integer values. And then for every single one, print it. Interesting. Is modulo divide? Yeah, so if no arguments, you can get rid of the parentheses. Interesting. So to invoke a function, you just put the name of the function itself. Very cool. All right. I am going to take a 5-minute break. 7-minute. I'm going to take a 7-minute break. And then when I come back, we're going to do some more. We'll do at least 2 more. And this is super fun. In C#, like public abstract class modulo division manager factory. Yeah. I have a doubt in React Native. Can I ask you? I am gonna take a break. It's probably better if you ask on the Discord because we'll have time to like figure out what you're asking. What is my name in coding game? It's W3CJ. That's me. Drop spam time. Yeah. Okay. So I'll enable the drop game while I'm away. And currently, we've got drops 2 for the price of 1. So every drop, you get 2 drops. Um, it is a feature, not a bug. I'll see you in 5 minutes. And also, a shout out to all of my patrons and members that support me. You'll see their names come up on the string while I am on break. Yeah, limited offer, 2 drops for the price of 1. W3 as in the World Wide Web Consortium. I am not affiliated with them, but I do web development. All right, see you soon. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna disable the drop game because apparently you can go more than once and it's just like grinding to a halt. There'll be no drop game, but I'll fix it this weekend. I really will. But sorry. All right, I'll see you. Hello, I'm back. Apparently the Christmas drop game just works just fine. So we could keep this on. That's my timer. Um, though I would want to get rid of the snow and the the falling snow. Let it snow. Should I let it keep snowing? Um, Let me bring the follower count up above the drop game like that. Actually, Merry Christmas. All right, type 1 in the chat if we should keep the Christmas drop game going. 2 if we should turn it off. Dungeon Master says turn it off. 1 F1. 1 2 1 1 1 2 1. I don't know, it looks pretty even. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, that's also the wrong thing. What was that? There we go. Put that like right there-ish. Some people are voting twice. All right. Should I take 5 minutes to build a simple little web page that can tally up the number of votes from the chat, which will probably end up taking like 10 or 15 minutes? Or should we play another Coding Clash game? 0 race to the 1 power. This is a working version of the drop game. Yes. No, just fix the original drop game. Coding Clash. All right, yeah, we'll stop messing around. We're just gonna play some Clash. Create the website in Vue. This is silly. It's snowing. Oh, look how slow that one is. Daniel Garden's gonna land right on top. Right on. Oh nope, he's gonna get yeeted. Oh, went right through him. Clash of Code. It's Christmas because the other drop game is broken and I haven't taken the time to fix it yet. Yeah, there is no leaderboard though, so everyone's a winner because it's Christmas time. All right, I'm going to send the link to Clash of Code, but if you have participated, I would say, wait, people couldn't submit drops unless they could circumvent the 30-second wait timer. Weird. I think there's a timeout right now on this one at least. All right, I'm sending the link, but if you've already joined, please wait for other people, give other people a chance to join. And thanks for the follow, Freeman. Oh, I see. That mods were spamming it, like I got scared because the screen was just like unusable and my Coding Garden DVD logo like stopped working for a second. That's cloud server solution for a web app. It really depends. All right, fastest mode. You got to be the fastest one to complete this. You have up to 15 minutes, but that yeah, you don't, if you're a mod, you don't have a timeout. Okay. Oh, thank you, Freeman. Much appreciated. All right. The waiter, Nicky, daily works for a pittance. After a hard day, he wants to treat himself to a drink, but he can only afford that with a decent tip. So if he gets more than a certain percentage of the tip in total on the day, then he can drink until he forgets about the job. So an integer in for the number of tables he has served. Integer percentage for the percentage of the bill he needs as tip to get drunk. The next in lines are 2 spaced floats. The bill for the amount of the bill and the tip for the amount of the tip. The output, whether or not the waiter is drunk or thirsty. Okay. Next in lines, 2 space separated floats. Bill. Okay. And we need to output the sum total, I'm guessing? That's what seems a little bit tricky, because we get story of my life. Okay, so we get the number of tables served. Okay, and then we get the percentage that he needs to get drunk. I see. So for the number of tables, we have to look at the total amount of all the bills with the total amount of tips and see what that percentage is. I see. Okay. Easy enough. Yeah, I've never done this one before. So what I'm thinking is like let bill total. Oh. Bill total equals 0 and tip total equals 0. And then as we iterate, we're just going to add it up. So we'll say bill total plus equal the bill. And tip total plus equal the tip. And then at the end of it all, we'll say if tip total divided by bill total times 100 is greater than or equal to the percentage, then we want to print drunk, otherwise thirsty. No, okay, what did I do wrong? Found drunk / thirsty. Wait, what? Oh. And we don't want to if. We just want to print here because this is a ternary. There we go. Let's try all of them. Make sure we're good. Submit. All right, I'm third one in. It's not too bad. Oh, but I got 100%, so I'm the first one. Yay! Yeah, we're just doing Clash of Code today, Depopom. I don't understand this. It took a little bit to parse, but basically sum up the entire bill, sum up all of the tips, and then see if the total amount of tips is the right percentage of the total amount of bill. You could definitely use a reduce. Could you use a reduce? Yeah, you could reduce over the... No, because you have to read line multiple times. So I don't think you could have used a reduce. Beaten by a hamster. Well, they submitted first, but they didn't have 100%. Oh, and Dungeon Master did it in C++. Nice. That'll be fun to look at. Yeah. Story of my life. Oh. Though I believe the Christmas drop game does not have Better Twitch TV or Franker Face emotes working. Oh, actually, no, it should. Never mind. We're gonna be you'll get me next game. Okay. I'm interested to see how you did it in C++. Though I feel like the solution for this in C++ is gonna look very similar to JavaScript. We have the Christmas drop game because the real drop game is broken right now. All right, let's see what Fishy Dev did in C#. This is hard. I don't know how to do it. Sorry. That's okay. Well, that was technically a backend fix, so I think it will work. I think it will actually work. Check it. Nope, it did not work. I look like a Shaolin. C++ is greater than JavaScript. That's an opinion. Harrison says, I kind of want to return to C++ one day. I was once learning OpenGL with it, then I discovered I was bad at math. Yeah. Dab. Oh, we still got a few clashers. C++.age is greater than JS.age. Yeah, C++ has been around for a while, hasn't it? All right, we still got a few clashers. I think we're going to start up another one, though. Well, we're going to go back and look at those solutions, but we're just going to wait for everyone to finish. Let's get another one going. Can I be a programmer even though I suck at math? Absolutely. I'm decent at math, but I haven't used math in a very long time. So if you just watch this stream, you can see me struggling with math-related problems. If you saw the beginning of this stream, I basically... had a temper tantrum because I couldn't figure out the math. All right, here's another Clash link. Try to let other people join first, but if you see no one joining, feel free to join again. But let's give other people a chance first. Math is hard. For me, the parts of math that are hard are where you need to know about certain aspects of numbers or have seen a particular pattern or problem before. But yeah. I wasn't able to watch this first, but that's a relief, I guess. Yeah. All right, reverse mode. So you are given the input and the output, and you have to guess what code to write based on that input and output. Okay, what the heck is going on here? So it's probably the number of lines, at least. And then we need to count something. In this case, the count is 0. Okay, I know what to do. I know what to do. Yeah, so let's get rid of this. We have the row, and we need to count it. This is very similar to what we did earlier, but like the opposite. Late night code, yeah. Dang, I still only got 3rd place. David did it in 44 seconds. Okay, yeah, we're going to do at least 2 more clashes after this one. We're still going to go back to here and review everyone's submissions once everyone has submitted. And we'll wait on people to finish this one. Actually, let's just get another one going. we're gonna keep them going. If I can finish it fast enough, we're gonna keep them going, just so more people have a chance to participate. We know what I'm doing in Spanish. How do I find the solution so fast? Probably because I've done so many of these that I'm seeing a lot of patterns. But I will say there are some of them that I've come across that just stump me. Like, I have no idea what to do unless someone tells me what to do. So there's the link. I think Lakshman, you just asked about it. Click that link and you can join us. But yeah, what was Muchacho saying? Yeah, and it is about practice. Like, the more experience you have doing problems like these, the more patterns you see emerge and that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, nice. Depopom's just hanging out where they do schoolwork. Programmer does not equal mathematician, yeah. But a lot of mathematicians can be programmers, or, yeah. Christmas tree? our other drop game is broken. And thanks for the follow, Amazon EU. What a Twitch name. Are you really the official Amazon? And thanks for the follow, Amr. All right, shortest mode. So you have 15 minutes to solve this problem, and you can solve it, and you must solve it in the least amount of characters. I'll read the problem description in a second, but I'll point out to you, if you're new to this, you can see in the bottom right what your code size is. You want to get that as small as possible, and comments count. So if you remove the comments, you're already on the way to a much smaller solution. Okay, let's see. You must output for each participant in a race the travel distance in meters at a given speed s, centimeters per second, in a given amount of time t. Oh, okay, we'll figure this out. They were just in Vape Juice Jordan's stream too. Like, were they chatting at all? Who is that? Who is that? I feel like Twitch would block people from creating names, because I mean Twitch is owned by Amazon, so they would block people from creating names with the word Amazon in it. I don't know. Okay, an integer in for the number of participants. Next in lines, 2 space separated integers, s and t, representing respectively the speed, s, and the time, t. Output, an integer representing the distance traveled. Okay, so if we have speed and we have time, that will give us the distance traveled. But we want in distance in meters traveled? Oh, interesting. That's weird. Oh, no, I see. Centimeters per second. There's Amazon EU. Don't cry, Amazon. You're allowed to hang out. I was just pointing out that you have a very unique username. You are more than welcome to chat with us and learn with us. Okay, I figured it out. So T is in minutes. We need to convert that to seconds to get the total number of centimeters traveled. So we really just want to print S times T, but T needs to be multiplied times 60 to give us seconds. And that's the total number of... This is going to give us the total number of centimeters traveled. We may need to divide this whole thing by 100 to get the number of meters. Yeah. So we need to divide by 100 to get the total number of meters. Because we right now have calculated centimeters. Okay, so I think we've done it. Now we just got to make it as small as possible. Yeah, so that works. Now let's make this super, super small. Okay. We got in. We're going to do the read line thing. 0.6. That's going to save us a ton of characters. Thank you very much. Because 60 divided by 100 is 0.6. Yep. And that should still work. Cool. We're going to put read line in its own little variable called R. I guess we'll do the for loop. We don't need this. Make it smaller. We should be able to do some destructuring here. Like that. Oh, look at that. Or I guess you were, Andrew's made it to the top of the tree too. All right, so this works. Can we get rid of the let? Doing the while read line. Yeah, that should give us some smaller, less characters, right? So we'll say while S comma T equals R. Well, no. Because this is, like, this array is always of truthy value. We could call it, like, V. And then we could say, let st equals v dot split. That definitely saves us some characters. Yeah. Oh, but in a for loop? Yeah, because that'll save us... Okay. We can do this. So if we make it a for loop... The thing is, this will break on r.split when it returns undefined. I think we still technically need that. So we do invoke readline here. We can throw away the value. And then on every item, we could do this. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of as many semicolons as possible. Nope. S is not defined. So the tricky thing about this is we do have to put let right there to get that to work. S is not defined. Remove the space. All the tabs were alerting me that I placed in some of those challenges. Can I explain what in equals r does? Yeah, so in these coding game challenges, typically we're given input and output. So in this case, we're given the input 1, which says there's going to be one line that we need to calculate, and then we have to read this in. So Shaggy with 2,000 characters, 100% done. Nice. We'll take a look at your solution. But what I'm doing and what I was doing was that I guess I needed in, so I call readline to get the value. Split, yeah, thank you. I always forget that we can do that, but yeah, we can use backticks here to shorten the number of characters. Split on space. And somehow this is still yelling at us for our destructuring. Yeah, it does not like this. Oh, S is defined after the first iteration. So I could use var. So the problem, if you are trying to solve this one, the problem is you are given, on each line, you are given the speed in centimeters per second and the time in minutes. And you need to calculate the total number of meters traveled. V equals R, comma? I guess the comma operator could work. It doesn't like, I don't think it likes that. It does not like that. Oh, I guess I could do a semicolon. I need the semicolon there. All right, that did it. All right, we're down to 58 characters, but at this point I can remove the curly braces, so that'll be like 56. Yeah, thanks for the tip, Andrew. So basically, we use the comma. It's not technically an operator. It's like we use the comma to do two different variable assignments. All right, anywhere else that we can clean up? I think that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and submit because I don't want to cheat with anyone in chat giving me more hints. All right, I'm curious what Shaggy did. 100%, but with 2,000 characters. Let's see. No! We got rickrolled. Nice work, Shaggy. We're no strangers to love. Great work. Got him. Nice. But yeah, for you, you didn't even try to minimize it. You just solved the problem. Very cool. Great work, Shaggy. All right, let's go back to where we were before this one. To see how everyone solved it. So let's remind ourselves what this one was. This was, oh yeah, so you're given the bill amount and the tip amount for every table at a restaurant for a waiter. And you need to determine, has that waiter gotten a certain number, a certain percentage of all bills for the entire night. So basically what we did was we summed up all the bills, we summed up all of the tips, and then tip total divided by the bill total multiplied by 100 gives us the percentage. And if it's greater than what we wanted, that waiter is drunk. Otherwise, they are thirsty. In and parseInt is not the same. It uses the same function. No. So parseInt. This is specific to coding game. But what's happening here is readLine is a way of reading in the input. So that gives us back a value. Then parseInt is built into JavaScript. So we're taking in that string that we read in, turning it into an integer, and then we're storing that value in the variable in. And then we're doing the same thing here, because in this particular problem, there were multiple lines of input, so we had to call readLine multiple times. Yeah. Okay, so that was my solution, and this was fastest, and so I won. I beat Dungeon Master by, I think, like 40 seconds, but they did it in C++. I'm interested to see how they did it. We have a lot of includes. I don't know if we need all of those includes, but we say the total is a double that is initialized to 0. The tip total, as well, is a double initialized to 0. Read in the percentage. For every value, we read in the bill value, like this particular table. We then increment the total. And so I guess this is reading in the bill and the tip, like in one line. So reading in both values. Incrementing the total and the tip total. And then we calculate. So if the tip total times 100 divided by the percentage is greater than the overall total, you're drunk. Otherwise, you're thirsty. I meant in and percentage. So readLine goes to the next line every time, yes? Yes. So, and particularly on these problems, sometimes your problem statement says you have to readLine multiple times, and that's why we had to do that. So readLine, the first call is going to read in the first one. readLine, the second time is going to read the next line, basically. Have you ever thought about creating courses to teach JavaScript? Yep. And I will eventually. Right now I have a full-time job, so streaming is just kind of like a hobby. But eventually I want to stream full-time and make course content full-time. Test. Is that just the font tag? No, it's the big tag. This is fun. You may not have seen this HTML tag in a long time. Big, 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 big. And it nests. So like a big inside of a big inside of a big makes the text bigger and bigger. Big! Nice. Yeah, no worries, Pixa. Glad you could figure that out. All right, so roaming did the same one in JavaScript. Let's see how they did it. Very similar. Total, tip total, bill total. Make sure that that percentage is the same. They did it slightly different. Like I multiplied mine by 100 versus dividing the percentage by 100, which is totally valid. And then printing out drunk or thirsty. Is there a tiny font? No, we're using the font tag. Yeah. Nice. All right, let's see how markup did it in JavaScript. Very similar. I think the only difference between my solution is this is wrapped in parentheses, which you don't necessarily need. But that's okay. And also we had an initialization with 2 variables there. All right, Leet also did it in JavaScript. Very similar. Very good. CB did it in Python, but they only got 75%, so one of them went wrong. Let's see. All right, read in the first line. Read in the second line. We're going to iterate over every table, basically. We get the bill and the tip, which is splitting that line and parsing it as float. We have the total plus equals tip times 100 divided by the bill. And we're doing floor division, so this is dropping the decimal. This might be why you only got 75%. Because you probably shouldn't have done floor division here. I think you wanted to hold on to those cents. And this technically would have dropped the decimal, I believe. I've learned a little bit about Python just watching other people do Python. You all aren't even listening. You don't even care about this code. You're just over here doing font tags and stuff, but that's okay. Roaming says, I forgot to divide by 100, so it took me a couple of minutes. Yeah, that's okay. Cool. I think that's what went wrong, CB, was the floor division. I can't be sure, though. And thanks for the follow. No Python, use Java. Update my gear list. My gear list is up to date. Coding.garden/gear. Yeah, it's all up to date. The only thing that's not up to date is I use a different computer to stream, but everything else is up to date. And this diagram is fairly up to date too. What do I think of the new ES 2020 features? I haven't looked at them yet. I saw like one article, but I didn't really take it to heart. I'm using the RGB keyboard right here, but I use that red keyboard in my office upstairs. What do I think of your username? It's fine. If you don't like Python, that's okay. All right, Coder and Black did it in C++, but they only got 50%. Let's see if we can determine where they went wrong. Read in the bill and the tip. Increment the total by the bill. Increment in by the tip. If in divided by the total... Oh, I think it's because you used integers instead of floats. Yeah, so total and in should have been a float instead of an integer. Because when you do the division here, you're going to get an int. Whereas this is going to come back as a float. And actually, percentage also needed to be a float. Because when you divide it by 100... Yeah, that was the issue. Should have just used floats everywhere. I am standing right now, yeah. It's not, I mean, it's not necessarily a standing desk. It's an IKEA table with like really high table legs. What Google search has an Easter egg? Oh, you posted a link. It's a big link. All right. Vuitton tried to do it in C. They only got 50%. Percentage is an int. I think that might be the issue here with C and C++, is if you're mixing data types, when you do certain operations, you're going to end up with an integer instead of a float, and then you lose decimal places. Yeah, it's Christmas all over again. The other drop game is broken, so we have this one running. Yeah, because we do the incrementing, that's totally fine. And then if tip, which is a float, divided by bill, which is a float, is greater than or equal to percentage... No, I think you just needed to multiply this times 100 to get the percentage value, and then you would have been a lot closer. The top of the tree does count. So I coded this tree drop game on stream, and we had to work out the collision detection and like how it landed on the tree. And so sometimes it's like a little off. And if your snowflake has too much velocity, it'll just go through the tree. And thanks for the follow, H5Z1. Progress. 45. Invisible. Font size 1. Apparently... Oh, yeah. Style tags will not work. You have to use the font tag. And thanks for the follow, Yataik. All right. Der Butcher did it in JavaScript. And oh, too dang hard. That's okay. You gave it a try. That's okay. Small, very small. Nice. Size equals 1. Yeah, audio controls, video controls, iframes, those are all stripped out. That's not gonna work. Okay. Hello, One Pocket Pimp. Stream's been good. We started off the stream with me kind of like rage quitting a particular Code Wars problem, just because I really didn't want to do the math involved. And I think that the rating of that particular problem was much, it was rated as easier than it actually was. But now we're just doing Coding Clash, and this is fun. Okay, so this one I got 3rd place in, but David got 1st. He did it in Python. Oh yeah, so this was similar to like one of the first ones we did, I think. The second one? Yeah, this was similar to the second one we did. So earlier we had to count all of the alphabetic characters in a string. So no special characters or spaces. You had to count them all and return the count. In this problem, you had to count all of the numbers in the string. So read in the total number of characters. The total number of lines, because there's going to be multiple rows. Read in that specific line. And then for every character in that row, if that character is a digit, return 1. And we're summing up all those instances of digits, and we have the total number of numbers. What are you all doing? Don't know why, but watched a bunch of streams on YouTube. Never live. Oh, nice. Oh, so this is your first time here for live? Very good. Welcome, welcome. Have I searched Yeah, I've searched for do a barrel roll on Google. I mean, I think you were talking to them, but I've done it. Top secret message. That's very, very tiny. You're nesting small tags. Yeah. All right, what has Leet Rose got for us? Fetching an image. That's not... all of the images run through an image proxy, and sometimes the image just doesn't load at all because maybe it can't, it's too big or it can't find it. But yeah. Am I going to stream tomorrow? I'm thinking that my next stream might not actually be until Friday evening or Saturday morning. I'm going to take a break, like a 2-day break. And thanks for the follow, Elko Muffin. This is my first time in life. Well, welcome, Andrew. Welcome to life. We'll do another one. I have 2 more tabs of solutions to go through, and then we'll get another one going. Cool. So count all of the numbers that occur in a string. David did it in Python. CB also did it in Python. Very similar. We're getting each input for every character in that row. If it's a digit, increment the count, and then print the count out. Very good. Hello, life. Hey, Bob. How's it going? I mentioned this in Discord, but I got one of those code challenge pop-ups from Google. Oh yeah, I saw your message. Yeah, if you search for a lot of programming things, Google might actually like give you a link to their interviews or something like that. Oh, nice, Elko Muffin. I'm glad you're learning stuff. I think we're doing good, Bob. A lot of people are just kind of trolling and hanging out, but we're having fun. We're still writing code. And then we can see my solution. So for every line, I turn it into an array and then use a reduce. I start that reduce at 0. Sum is our accumulator. And then for every character in the string, if that string matches this regular expression, and this is a regular expression for checking to see if something is a digit. So we're trying to see, is it a number? And if it is a number, we increment sum by 1. But if it's not, we keep sum the same. Yeah. Apparently this didn't work, Mint Jim. Oh, you've got weird quotes. You need to have the regular quotes, not the like Microsoft Word quotes. That's why that broke. Okay, so that was my solution. Let's see. Dungeon Master, I don't know if you're still watching, but be sure to click share code if you haven't closed the tab yet on the one where it was counting the number of number of occurrences of numbers. And last time Dungeon Master did it in C++. This time they did it in Python, so that's cool. Oh, you closed the tab? No worries, no worries. All right, roaming did it in Python. Is numeric. Is that what we saw them, David and CB use? Is digit. Okay, so Python, you apparently have two functions available to you. Is numeric or is digit. Very cool. Razor1 did it in Kotlin. Oh, let's check out Kotlin. Kotlin is like a less verbose Java. Let's see. We have our regular expression that matches against a digit. For every line, we find all items in that string that match digit. That gives us back, I'm guessing, a string of digits. Turn it into a list and get the size. Here come the Android devs. That's actually really cool. I didn't know you could use Kotlin on this site. Wait, did somebody use COBOL? Kotlin is not COBOL, no. All right, we'll take a look at Jerry code. They did it in JavaScript. They did exactly what I did. Nice work, Jerry. All right, nobody else submitted. All right, this last one, I got first place. I think this one was smallest number of characters, and I won. Let's see my solution. Oh yeah, so we were given the speed in centimeters per second and the time in minutes, and we needed to calculate the total distance traveled in meters for every single line, and we did that here. I think I'm just gonna skip the explanations because it gets really weird. This is actually fun though if you haven't seen this before. So to reduce the number of characters when you're splitting a string into an array, if you use backticks, this is interpreted as a tagged template literal. So you can use backticks with the split function name instead of having to invoke the split function, and that saves you 2 characters. So that's nice. Let's see how Manu did it in JavaScript in 81 characters. Let's see. I think I did it. Yeah, I did it in a for loop. They did it in a for loop as well. But one thing I did in this for loop was I abused the fact that in a for loop, you can have any statement you want as the initializer. And I used that to like get rid of the first item. My conditional check here is that if, like, and this is to keep iterating, if we can read something in, we keep iterating. And then on top of that, I take what we just read in and destructure it. So I'm saving characters by doing it inside of the for loop. Whereas Manu just has like a regular for loop from 0 to n, and then we do the rest of the code. So split it, grab each value, and then multiply it. I will say you could have saved characters. You didn't necessarily need to do the unary plus, because in JavaScript, if you take 2 strings and try to multiply them together, they automatically get turned into numbers anyways. So you didn't really need the unary plus. What's going on here? At this point, nobody's even watching. They're just here for the drop game and to do random things in the chat manager. All right, I hate him did it in Ruby. Wow. Read in the input as an integer in times. So we're gonna iterate up to n. We listen. Okay, one pocket pimp. And Hippo Viva with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Hippo Viva, who says, "You're awesome." Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I'm doing my best. I'm actually smiling a lot. It's hurting my cheeks. All right. So we do in times. This is really interesting that Ruby lets you do that. You have like an integer and you want to iterate that many times. So that many times, read the input. So like get string, split it on spaces. And in Ruby, you can have multiple return values from functions. So technically this is returning multiple values. We get s and t. And then for each value, collect it as an integer. What? What is this doing? Oh, I think this is all one statement here. So split it, and then each value collected as an integer, and that is actually going to return 2 values, s and t. And then we do the last thing, which is calculate the total distance. Whew. I'm going to get cheek RSI. It's totally possible. We're listening. That's okay. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right. We're going to look at a couple more, and then we're going to do another challenge. Vuitton did it in C. Very interesting. It's cool to see that you can put all the stuff in one line on C, because I've seen a lot of people do C, but they keep it on multiple lines. But all right, we have 3 values. Read in the length. While I is less than the length, read in SNT, and then print the conversion. Very interesting. All right, C# from Kraken is a very verbose solution. So, I mean, this particular challenge was to try to do it in the least number of characters. So they solved it in C#, but they probably could have gotten rid of a lot of the extra spaces here, and like put all the things on one line, similar to C. Because I don't think C# cares if you do that. But also, we have all these extra imports or these like using statements. You might have gotten rid of some of them. And here's Shaggy. It has the exact same number of characters as last time. Though, is this the one I clicked, or did you rickroll me on another one? I think that's the same rickroll. Int main. Static void main. Oh, it's the same one. Oh yeah. And then if you missed it earlier, I got rickrolled by Shaggy in their solution. Never gonna give you up. And Harrison tried, but they got 0%. Let's see if we can see what they did wrong. While readline, I equals readline. You needed to put the assignment in the while loop. I don't know if you're still watching, Harrison, but basically this throws away the readline, and you need that in a variable, because if you invoke R, so you know what you did, but basically if you invoke R and you don't put it in a variable, then you've lost it. So this is going to be like the next variable, and you lost the previous one. Cool. All right, let's do another one. This might be the last one. So prepare yourselves. All right, I'll let you sign in, Bob. And anybody that has participated, please let others attempt to join the clash first before you join, to give them a chance. Long longs are a thing. Like a double? A long is a double, isn't it? I don't know. All right, here comes the link. Actually, can I DM someone? Whisper. 2. Bob's Paradox. Here you go, Bob. Bob's a mod. And here is for everyone else. You've already participated in like 3 of them, Andrew. But I mean, if you click the link fast enough. But also give other people a chance to join. Kraken says, thanks, CJ. This is cool. Yeah, you're very welcome. I guess you're the one that did C# on that last one? Yeah. Chances are I won't be able to solve it. We'll see. We'll see. Last one of the night. How do I have energy to do this after work? I don't know. It's fun to solve problems like this. I'm excited. I'm excited. What is that Google homepage theme? Oh, it's not the Google homepage. This is just my new tab. It's called Tabbliss. Tabbliss. I think that's what you're talking about. Oh no, Mint Jim, your PC is broken? Oh, this is the fastest mode. I should not be talking. Fast, okay. You technically have 15 minutes to solve it, but you want to solve it as fast as possible. All right. Given an integer n, you have to return the difference d between the sum of the digits at even positions and the sum of the digits at odd positions. Okay. What? We're given an integer n. We want the sum of the sum of the digits at even positions minus the sum of the digits at odd positions. Okay. And I think it's in base 10. Yeah. And so we should be good here. I'm just going to take in the number as an array, and then we just want to sum it up. So we're going to reduce it. We're going to have 2 different running sums. Call it sums, and we have each individual digit. Our accumulator is going to be an object with the even sum. I'm doing this in shortest code mode. I could be doing it in a whole lot more, but it's fine. We have the even sums and we have the odd sums. And we're going to say if d mod 0, not mod, so if d mod 2 is equal to 0, then it's odd. Wait, no. It's truthy. Which means it's odd. Does the input have any plus or minus symbols? it's possible. I should probably take math.absolute value. Yeah, so this means, well, if it's equal to 0, then it is even. But because I'm not doing equal to 0, it's going to be truthy falsy, and it will be odd. So I'll say sums.odd plus equals the digit, and we'll do the unary plus, else sums.even plus equal the unary plus of the digit. Let's just see what we get. We get nan. Probably be, oh yeah, well, is it that the input could actually be, oh, people are already done. Dungeon Master's already done. Is it that the input is negative? Print input. Hello, some gamer. Welcome to the show. I am taking a really long time on this one, but that's okay. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. Okay. Oh, because I'm not returning. Okay, I'm using a reduce, but I'm not returning the accumulator. I need to use the comma operator. So do this business, and then after you've done all that business, return the sums. That's what I forgot. And that should give us back an object with even and odd. And we want to do the sums of the digits at the even position minus the odd position. So I actually want to put this result in a variable. And then I want to say result.even minus result.odd. Reduce confuses me. Yeah. It takes some time getting used to. Found 1, 2, 5. Oh, because I need to get rid of this first print. I should probably write this out in a non-short form. What am I doing? Yeah, check out Fun Function. I also have some videos on higher order functions that have helped some people before. So you can check those out. What am I? I've been coding too much today. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm broke. Is it even minus odd or odd minus even? I think it's even minus odd. The sum of the digits at the even positions minus the sum of the digits at the odd positions. We aren't allowed regular expressions at work. They are non-intuitive. That's interesting. Yeah, I did look at the super chat from Hippo Viva. Much appreciated. Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Okay. Let's just look at what is input and what is our result. What am I even doing? I mean, I'm not at all drunk. $16 minus 15 should be 1, right? Oh, it's not the digit, it's the index. Ugh. This needs to be I mod 2. Yeah, and then 14 minus 7. Okay, that does it. Okay, finally. Jeez. That took me so long to figure out. Okay. That was the last one of the night, though. I can't do any more of those. And yeah, and thanks for the follow, some gamer. I can't get it. Code drunk. Try to write it out. Don't use a reduce. Here I'll give you some pseudocode. Here's some pseudocode. Stop it. So we want to first turn the input into a string. So the original code that it gave you was parsing the input to a number. And it's a lot easier if you just turn it into a string, so that way you can access each individual digit. You could do some maths to grab each digit, but it's a lot easier if you just turn it into a string. We then have a place to store the even sum, a place to store the odd sum. We then iterate from 0 up to the length of the string. And then for each value, if index is odd, add value at index to odd sum. Else, add value at index to even sum. Lastly, return even sum minus the odd sum. The tricky part here is you might need to turn that string into an array. Though if you just use a regular for loop for this, you don't actually need to turn the string into an array. But this pseudocode should get you there. We don't do HTML, so the 14 millisecond of compile time doesn't matter. They don't want to have to edit code later on and assign. Interesting. So this was talking about not using regular expressions at work. Hello, Extreme Logic. Clash of Code is a game that we can play. We technically already did the last one. Wait, did that pseudocode help you, Bob? Did it help? Let me know, Bob. Because Bob said I couldn't get it. And then they got it. But yeah, so this is a coding game. And honestly, I wouldn't mind doing another one. I'm kind of addicted to these. But you can go to codinggame.com. And this thing is called Clash of Code. And you get a challenge that you can share with others. You can do a private clash or you can compete in public clashes. But the challenge is one of three things. Who can solve the problem the fastest? Who can solve it in the shortest amount of code? Or reverse mode is you're given inputs and outputs and you have to guess what code to write based on that. So it's super fun. We've done several of them tonight and it's always fun to like compare different solutions and stuff like that. When I tell someone about what I did with code, their brain explodes. Yeah, it's a fun game for sure. Turn input into a string, traverse the string backwards. You want to add the even digits, subtract the odd digits. Yeah. Fireball. LOL. Even odd indices, not digits. Okay, yeah. Did I write that out? Yeah. And that's what I messed up because on the first time I tried to solve it, I was checking to see if the value itself was even or odd. But you want to see if the indice is even or odd. Yep, you can use Python. They have a whole list of languages, but yeah, that's basically how it works. We'll do one more, and I'll give you some time to sign up. If you go to codinggame.com, you can sign in with GitHub. So whenever I share the link, you should be able to join whenever I share it. Pseudo show. The strings were being concatenated instead of added. Yeah, so that's a tricky part here. So add the value at index. Parsed to number to the sum, because otherwise you would be concatenating it to the sum. That's a good point. So you would have need to have done that. Yeah. That C++ finish time. Let's see. 1 minute and 31 seconds. Nice job, Dungeon Master. Yeah. They competed in I think 2 different ones earlier. I for the life of me couldn't figure out what was wrong with my code. Drunk off of coding. Yeah. And hello, Nemakuro. You weren't last, Bob. Yeah, unary plus. I think so. How many people learned about the unary plus operator today? Type 1 in the chat if you learned about the unary plus operator. The thing is, I can't choose the type. 0, 2, 2. The tricky bit is it's always random. So when I create a private clash, it's going to be one of these and I can't choose what it is. Teach me. Infinity. Nice. I forgot to parse the digits back to an integer. Logic was fine, but I spent 5 minutes wondering what was wrong. Yeah, I think Bob did that as well. If I could choose a type, the thing is, shortest mode is really I think it's fun. Code golfing for me is fun, to make it the smallest number of characters. Fastest is anxiety inducing because you're like stumbling over yourself to try and solve it. And then reverse mode can be fun, but sometimes I have no idea what they're asking for. So yeah, I don't know. Numikuro says, I learned the unary operator in college, but I just remembered it today thanks to you. Oh, that's great. Modulus determines even or odd. Modulus 2, because if something modulus 2 is equal, something mod 2 is equal to 0, then that number is even, because it is evenly divisible by 2. And thanks for the follow, Architect. Reverse is fastest without a quest. It's true. That is very true. All right, I'm going to go ahead and look at these solutions, and then we'll get into another one. So Dungeon Master did it in C++. We have very short variable names. So if I mod 2 has a value, then that means it's odd. So L is the sum of all the odd numbers. R is the sum of all the even numbers. I couldn't tell by your variable names, but that's what they did. L, sum of odd numbers. R, sum of even numbers. And then we have our incrementer, or our indice, I. So for every character C in that input, increment I, if that indice is divisible by 2, if that indice is divisible by 2, then we do C minus the string 0. So I'm guessing that is a way of turning a character into a number. A very simple way of doing that in C++. That's super interesting. Yeah, and so then we have the evens and the odds. Wait, never mind. L is actually the evens. Weird. Weird. Thanks for the follow, Extreme Logic. ASCII maths? Yeah, like character minus the string 0 somehow gives us the integer representation of that character, if that character was an integer. Didn't bother with odd and even, just picked alternate ones. The thing is, you had to do evens minus the odds. Is it because you actually started at 1? I don't know. Drink reminder. Thank you. That's how characters should work in JavaScript. Character literals can be used to calculate offsets. That's pretty cool. Nice. That's the thing with like the fastest mode. It's like you just got to figure it out. So just try things. Cool. All right. So roaming did it with Python. Let's see. We have evens and odds. They start off both at 0. If I mod 2 is equal to 0, meaning it's divisible by 2, increment the evens by parsing that value into an integer and adding it onto the evens. If it's odd, do the same. Print E minus O. DM also did it with Python. Same thing. It's a very similar solution. We see my solution, which is like this weird reduce with a ternary inside. Dungeon Master says, this is putting my variable naming to shame. Yeah, most people use pretty descriptive names. Well, the thing is, E and O is a lot more descriptive than L and R. Even though they're both one letter. Because in this context, we know what they actually mean. What's my trick? I've just been doing this a very long time, that's all. L left, R right. Okay. But is that the same thing as even in odd? I don't know. All right, Bob is a mod here on the coding garden. Let's see how they did it in JavaScript. Nice. We have a regular plain old for loop. We've got our evens. We've got our odds. While I is less than the length of the overall input. If it's even, we add it to the evens variable, and we use that unary plus operator to parse it to an integer. Double equals. This is totally fine though. Like, yeah. I mean, technically a triple equals would have been faster execution because it wouldn't have to... I don't even know. At this point, you're comparing two integers, so it doesn't really matter. Also, this is just... this was fastest mode. So, that did it. Great work. Thank you, Extreme Logic. All right, let's see how markup did it in JavaScript. They used a split, a map, and technically they didn't need a map. Technically, they could have used a for each instead of a map because we aren't really doing anything with the result of the map. But basically, split the input, iterate over each. If it's even, add it to the evens. If it's odd, add it to the odds. All right, here's Brandon, who did it with JavaScript. Whoa, now we did a reduce. Nice. So in my reduce, I reduced an object with two properties, even and odd. Brandon reduced an array where the first value in the array is the even values and the last value in the array are the odd values. Yeah. How could you? I started with an object and got all messed up. Yeah, and so this totally works because what's nice about using an array is you can just destructure it. Right at the, because this is the accumulator, and you're basically destructuring the first and the second values in the reduce here. So if it's even, increment. If it's not, increment odd. Good. Dan Garden did it with JavaScript. Whoa, now this was not shortest mode. This was just fastest, I believe. But yeah, same thing's happening, but it's a for loop and it's a ternary. Can you choose COBOL on this website? In this next one, somebody has to choose COBOL. I would really appreciate it if someone chose COBOL. Pixa only got 20%. Let's see what they did. Why is it 1? Turn it into an array. Evens, odds. Is odd. Number, fastest mode in COBOL. Does anyone here watch the Fireship YouTube channel? COBOL is a really old business computing language. So Fireship has been doing these videos, X in 100 seconds, a lot of different things. But recently he did COBOL in 100 seconds. Common business-oriented language. And the thing is, in this video, he sounds serious. But there are so many just like subtle jokes. Just go watch that video. It's gosh darn hilarious. COBOL versus C. COBOL is like much more verbose, I would say. Yeah, it was something like in New Jersey, they needed COBOL programmers because of something happening with COVID. It could be like in healthcare, certain things run on COBOL. I don't know. Output was 1 because I checked characters if they were odd. They were only offering $35,000 a year, like a salary? No way. No way. Mumps and COBOL. All right. I really don't know what went wrong here, Pixa, because if you pass in a string, technically JavaScript will coerce that string to a number if you're doing mod. Like if I do 42 mod 2, I get back the right value, even if it's a string, because JavaScript will coerce this string to a number. So technically that should have worked. Oh, I see. Yeah, you were checking the value itself instead of the index. That's what I was doing to begin with until I figured it out. Okay. Cool. And Coder in Black. Yeah, I don't see what you did wrong either. You might have done the opposite. Your evens were your odds and your odds were your evens? Oh, no. You didn't, you cannot index into a number. So, and an integer does not have a length. That's the main issue. Because this was passed into parse int, you can't detect the length and you can't grab the values out of it. You had to have left it as a string with just readline. Andrew Lane. We're no strangers to love. Does this count? Does this count as a rickroll? Yeah, the government put up a COBOL list dev listing for 35,000. It's extremely low. I mean, for one, how many COBOL developers are still out there? So just because it's so hard to find them, they should be paying more money, right? Yeah, they do have Scheme on this website. Yeah, a lot of old stuff runs on it, like mainframes and stuff like that. Yeah, dividing by 10 would have given you, or mod 10 would have given you the last digit. Yeah. I was going to do it, but I gave up. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like supply and demand. There are no more COBOL developers. You should sleep, my dear friend. I'm going to go after one more challenge. We're going to do one more challenge. Here we go. Get ready. And I forget who it was, but who was the person asking about all this stuff, I'll give you a chance to join first. There you go. Extreme Logic. I'm gonna send you the link, Extreme Logic. And then I'll send it to everyone else. Extreme Logic. There you go. Click that link. Once you've joined, I'll send it out to everyone else, and then we'll get going. Uno mas, last one of the night. This might be the most clashes we've done in a single stream, but it's been pretty fun. Waiting on extreme logic. No Python, use Java. Otra más. Another more. You could try coding on mobile. This site is definitely not mobile friendly. The thing about the editor, like you see me having to like scroll around. Cool. Oh, did somebody just type in the URL? Somebody might have just typed in the URL. All right, I'll give everyone a chance. Everyone can just join now. So there's the link. If you click that link, you can join. If you've already participated, try to give someone else a chance to join. Though, I mean, if you typed in this whole URL, that I guess that's fine. Siempre más. All right, I don't know if Extreme Logic got a chance to join, but hopefully. All right, shortest mode. So you have 15 minutes, and you want to solve this using the shortest number of characters. Now, over on the right-hand side is your code area. It tells you your code size. Comments count, so you're definitely gonna want to remove all of the comments. And for those of you using JavaScript, a quick tip is instead of console.log, you can actually use print, which is shorter characters, but will still run. The Christmas tree is back because the other drop game is broken. All right. Parse the regular hexagon and tell how much regular unit triangle do you find. What? What? This is not proper English. Okay. I might just not do this one. If the length of one side of the regular hexagon is in units. As it is well known, every regular hexagon that has a positive integer value for the length of one side can be split into a positive integer value of regular triangles. Okay, I regret trying to do another one. Where the regular triangle has sides with 1 unit of length. For example, what is this question? I'm just going to post this in the chat really quick so you all can like try to understand this yourselves. I don't know if this is too long for a Twitch chat. Let's see. We'll do it in multiple paragraphs. What? Yeah, exactly. There we go. That's the problem description. See if you can see what this thing is asking for. Is it 6 times n factorial? If the hexagon has sides... Is this a new copy pasta? If the hexagon has sides with 1 unit of length, it will be split into 6 triangles. Okay. If the hexagon has sides with 2 units of length, it will be split into 24 triangles. The length of one side. There we go. Grand Pooh Bear got it. Though 259 characters, you might have been able to do that in a smaller number of characters. Oh, you are Grand Pooh Bear. Cool. This was shortest mode, though, so you could have taken longer to get it down to the least number of characters. Because technically, somebody could finish after you and still get it in smaller number of characters. 6 times n factorial. Is that the answer? Let's write a little factorial function. It's going to be recursive. So take in and return. So if n is equal to 1, return 1, else return n times factorial of n minus 1. So that should give us the factorial. And we could say 6 times factorial of n. Wrong. Is it 6 times n times factorial? Oh, I'm gonna make this way smaller if it works. No, that's wrong. It works for 1. GPB? Who's GPB? The whole problem statement. I just sent it. Gmail was logged in India. Yeah, you better go change your password. I had a web API URL that could not be consumed on the client side. Last resort was server side code, and it worked. That's fine. Yeah. It's literally 12 characters. All right, I give up. Can someone just tell me the formula? What's the formula? Can you tell me? We need to do another one. If someone just tells me the answer, we'll do another one. I guess it's not that hard to figure out. Let's see. A hexagon has 6 sides. What's the relationship between 2 and 24? Oh, the answer is 6 squared. Okay. Is it really? Is that it? Wow. Okay. I don't like this. I do not like this at all. It's ridiculous. Readline is built in here to coding game. It's a way of reading in the input. So most of the problem statements say like read in some input, and you use the readline function to get that. Yeah, that's 22 characters. Look at me go. Am I gonna win this one? All right, let's do another one. We're not even gonna look at people's answers. I'm sorry. We're just gonna do another one. Hopefully it's better. If it's not better, I'm just gonna go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Last link of the day. I'll just let it be a free for all. I don't care if you've done one already. Just click the link. Let's go. Let's get this going. I don't like this problem either. Have I played so much they're running out of good problems? It's very possible. Yeah, because I have never gotten the same problem twice. So they're definitely rotated. Like they're not, depending on who is participating in the clash, they're choosing ones that haven't been done yet. Okay, shortest mode. You are given a patient. Every patient has a unique amount of teeth. Each tooth is either healthy, 1, rotten, 0, or pulled out, dash. Pull out any rotten teeth you find. Output the entire mouth of the patient after you've pulled out the rotten teeth. Okay, I'll remind you, this is shortest mode. So go ahead and remove all of the comments. And you can see in the bottom right what your code size is. You want to get that as small as possible. Small as possible. So you're given an input like this. Wait, what? Output the entire mouth after you've pulled out. Oh, you pulled out the rotten teeth. I see. 1 is healthy, 0 is rotten. And a pulled out tooth becomes a dash. So really, we just want to print row.replace a regular expression with any 0, and we want to replace that with a dash, and we want to do it globally like that. The first input is the number of lines you're going to expect. So 2 says you're going to see 2 lines, and then you need to call readline twice. And the setup function calls readline for you. So yeah, so this works. Let's make it as small as possible. His question is very graphic. I think we're going to use our trick that we learned earlier with a for loop. So we have our initial. What is the jobs tab? I have no idea where. I don't know. Don't know what you mean. The Dan trick, yeah. Well, technically, I mean, he came up with the idea of doing it in a while loop. Oh, this is probably just Coding Game is hiring. I think they're just hiring. He came up with the while loop, but Doc came up with putting it in a for loop to make it even shorter. Not that. No. $52. Monstro. Okay, that one finished. Can I do it in shorter than 52 characters? Do I need that second semicolon? Yeah, you do for a for loop, because basically a for loop is split up into 3 sections. You have your initialization, you have your code that runs on every iteration, your comparison to see if the for loop should continue, and then you have another like assignment operator on each iteration. So that semicolon needs to be there. I believe I'll get it like a syntax error if not. Yeah, unexpected token. All right, so this is 52 characters. Let's see what it looks like with a while loop. The definition of smurfing? What is that? Like when somebody... Isn't that like in gaming when someone plays a thing but says they're not very good at it, but they actually are really good at it? Yeah, and that's 53 characters with a while loop. Still works. We are going to go back to the for loop. Yeah, I don't know if we can get any better. I'm just going to go ahead and submit it. Dang it, Andrew submitted first with 52 characters. How can we... You have the same solution? Okay. Can we do better, though? Can we do better? Yeah, we have to get better now. Fight me. Alright. What if we tried to do a map instead? No, because it's a string, isn't it? We'd have to... It's gonna be more characters. We'd have to turn it into an array, and then we'd have to join it. Oh well, let's see how many characters it gives us. So if that character is a 0, then we want to return a dash. Otherwise, we return the character itself. This is way more characters. and then we join it all back together. Though we can join it like that with the template. 67 characters. Too long. The thing is, you need the regex because you have to say it's a global replace. Otherwise, in JavaScript, a replace only replaces the first occurrence. Yeah, so this should still work. I think so. Like, I believe the string replace only does the first occurrence. Yeah, that's why this won't work. We need that global to say every occurrence. Amr did it in 50 characters. I'll take a look. Is it in Python? Well, it's on CodePen, so I'm guessing it's in JavaScript. All right, I'm going to cheat and use Amr's solution just so we can beat Andrew. What a great way to end the stream, huh? No, no, no! I think I was about to be rickrolled. That was a good one, Amr. That was a good one. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't see it coming. I'm so desperate to beat Andrew in 52 characters. I'll just let it happen. Oh no, it's an epic set. What is this? The funniest stream ever. It still counts. It counts. Yeah, that's what happens when I try to cheat. I guess we already tried it with the while loop and we got 53 characters. I still have time to use another language. I guess I could use Ruby. Is anybody else doing it with Ruby? All right, I have 6 minutes to learn how to do this in Ruby. Sounds like a fun challenge. Ruby, replace occurrences in string. Place the characters in a string. Replacement, like what? That's... We'll get there. We have 6 minutes. I think I can do this. The math ones get me. Me too. I do not like those math ones. Ruby. Replace every instance of a pattern in a string. G-sub. Pattern replacement. String.sub. Pattern replacement. Yeah. G-sub. But I need to, how do I do string.gsub? Let's see. All right, we still have 5 minutes. I'm going to hold on to my JavaScript solution. Keep that there, but we're going to try Ruby. Are you sure you want to change the language? Yeah, let's go. In equals get the total number. In times do. Row equals gets.chomp. Do I do like puts like that? Yeah, look at me. I know Ruby. Puts, and then we can use string.sub pattern and replacement. Let's try that. Gets.chomp sub dash with no, we want to replace all zeros with dash. Oh, that didn't work. G-sub. Global substitute. I see. G-sub. G-sub, man. All right, that works. Look at me. I can do Ruby. Okay, Ruby is a white space language, though. So am I technically not allowed to, like, do this? Well, that works. Yeah, how do I shorten this? Do I need in to be an integer to be able to say times? Apparently I do. That's 59, though. Do I need end here? Yeah, I need end. Do I need a space before the end? No. Well, that's fun. Do puts doesn't make sense. Do gets to I in... Yeah, absolutely. That'll do it. That's 52. Extreme Logic got 51. All right, I have 3 minutes. Is there anything I can do to make this smaller? First of all, I'm proud that I did Ruby. I did Ruby today. I figured this out. Do I need chomp? What does chomp do? Oh, 46. I'm submitting. Yes! Yes! 46! Oh. That was worth it. That was definitely worth it. Yes. Can you beat 46? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Pog. No, I am not cheating. No. I looked it up. I looked up how to do it. Nobody told me how to do it. Yes. We still have 2 minutes left, though. GG. Thank you, Hippo Viva. Much appreciated. Whew. That was exhilarating. Python is so long. What the heck? What the heck is chomp in Ruby? Ruby gets chomp. Is that split it? Outplayed. Wait, did somebody beat me? Not yet. Grand Pooh Bear did it in Python in 50 characters. If you then call chomp on that value, the line break is cut off. Okay, so apparently chomp would remove the line break. Delete everything and you'd get the smallest solution. Cool. So apparently in this situation we didn't need to get rid of the last one. Holy cinnamon rolls. Who originally suggested Ruby? Because that was great. Oh, too many messages ago. All right, you got a minute left. Thank you, Joe John. And I think you also corrected me on the G sub too. Much appreciated. Shout out to Joe John. They are the real MVP. Where should you learn Vue? Vue Mastery had their courses for free for a while. Yeah, Ruby PogChamp. Is it still free? Let's see. Free week 2020. So Vue Mastery is really cool. They have a lot of really well-produced videos on learning Vue. And for a little while, they had everything was free for a while. And so they're good. Check out Academind on YouTube. They have a lot of really good Vue.js courses. And I have videos on Vue, but they're not full courses. Okay, it's not free anymore. They have a discount. Okay. Yeah, so time's up, and I won. I mean, really, shout out to Joe John and the other person that suggested do a different language. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's recap what I did. Read in the first string, turn it into an integer, and Ruby has this built-in thing called .times, where you can give in an integer value or number value, you can repeat something that number of times, which is really convenient. And then for that many times, read in the string, do a global replace of all zeros with a dash, and then put that out to the console. End. End scene. All right, Grand Pooh Bear did it in Python. Let's see. So read in the input, that's going to be the number of inputs, but in this case, we're just throwing it out. And then while true, so just keep iterating, print input.replace. How does this work, though? Isn't this an infinite loop? Like, when does the loop decide to break? Does it break because it throws an exception that the return value of input doesn't have a replace function? Yeah, finally some love for Ruby. Right? Am I reading this right? This would technically be an infinite loop, but when it reaches the very last time when input like returns undefined or null, then it would be like null.replace. Yeah, I think that's what happens. Like, it throws an exception when it gets to the end, but technically you output all the right things. I'm gonna take a quick stretch. While true. Yes, while true. That's super weird, but great job, Grand Pooh Bear. But you didn't quite get 46 characters, but nice try. All right, Andrew did it in JavaScript in 52. They did the thing that I did. They just used different variable names. Cool. Shaggy did it in JavaScript in 53 characters with a while loop. Yeah. I mean, so this is the way that I solved it the first time. So, and we're basically abusing the fact that a for loop has 3 places to do things. You have your initialization, your check, and your increment. And in this case, we have no increment, and our check is doing the read line. Yeah. Most people are using JavaScript. Yeah, Extreme is Grand Pooh Bear. Extreme Logic. That's Grand Pooh Bear. So yeah, that's how that works. And then for every item, replace it. And then Shaggy did it with a while loop. So we need to basically throw out the first read line because it's the number of times to iterate. But if we're doing this while loop, we don't need to care about the number of times to iterate. So it's basically read line. If we get back a value, then do it. Otherwise, we break out of the loop. And thanks for the follow. It's me, Joey, and CS Buffalo. The loop breaks because it needs a union worker break. Yeah. All right, Dan Garden did it in 55 characters. With a for loop. Yeah, but instead of new lines, they just put it all in the same line with semicolons. Though... Oh, I like that. We saw a regex replace, but you did a split and then a join. Split it on all zeros and then join it back together on dashes. That's a good way to do it for sure. If you're only using readline once in the loop, isn't it more characters to do the assignment first? The trick is though you have to invoke readline multiple times because each time you invoke readline, you're getting back a new value. So you can't just store the previous result. That's why we have to call it multiple times. Okay, roaming did it in Python. Look at this. For I in the range of the first read in value, print that value with the value replaced. It's interesting that Python automatically does a global replace. Like in, okay, see you later, Kraken. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah. So Python does a global replace by default. JavaScript doesn't. Ruby doesn't. I'm curious to see if anything else does, but very cool. Pixel says, "Can you check why my code didn't work?" Yeah, I'll check. That was roaming. Okay, markup did it in JavaScript. Technically, you could have passed this whole thing right here into print, and then you would not have had to assign it to a variable. And in doing that, you could have gotten rid of the curly braces. But this, instead of doing the assignment inside of the for loop like we were doing, this is just your classic for loop with the calculation inside of it. Okay. Unhot did it in Python. For I in range, print it out. Very good. Manu did it in JavaScript in 50 characters, but it did not work. Here's the issue. So you saw, let's see who did it with a while loop. Was it Dan Garden? No. Shaggy. Yeah. So here was the issue why it didn't work. The very first line of input is the number of elements. So technically you have to invoke it once as a throwaway, and then you can use it inside the while loop. So in this case, Manu, because you didn't do the throwaway, yeah, Shaggy did it, but because you didn't do the throwaway, you actually have one line of like garbage output. So close. All right, let's see how Pixa did it. 86 characters. Read in the number of items. S is initialized to the empty string. It might have been shorter. Let me know, One Pocket Pimp. Is that the Ruby one that I did? Wait, people are saying things. I missed it. I don't know. And thanks for the follow, Arvind. Shorter than gsub. Okay, so initialize S to the empty string. We then have a function which takes the read in input and replaces one or more occurrences of 0 with dash. So that's fine. We're appending that to S. So we invoke the function and then append a new line to it and then invoke the function again. So the only issue with this Pixa is that it doesn't call this function in times. So that's why we were using a while loop or for loop, because every input could have been multiple times instead of just like 2 inputs. Clash of Code does sometimes it will. Sometimes I believe your code can time out. Yeah. And see you later, Lethal Error. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, if I would have used TR, I could have gotten rid of 2 characters. Nice. No, I really have to go. I've been live for 3.5 hours. But yeah, I think that was your main issue, Pixa, is you didn't have a loop which would call this multiple times. Yeah, because this technically only reads it in twice. Cool. All right, that was it. We did a lot of these, but I do have to go. Thanks everyone for hanging out. This was super fun. What if you used a for of in JavaScript? It wouldn't really have worked because, let's see. You had to iterate in times, but yeah. Not tomorrow, but I will say this: I am very, very quickly approaching 42,000 subscribers on YouTube. So this weekend, I'll most likely do a very long hangout with the community stream where we'll play Clash of Code, we'll play games, we'll code Twitch bots, we'll just hang out for at least 8 hours, but probably more than that. So this weekend, tune in this weekend. And we'll work on the inventory app. Yeah, we're just going to do a whole lot of hanging out. Yeah, that's the plan. Big old long live stream. we'll eat baked beans. Yeah, Jojo. And thanks for the follow, D Homer or D Homeyer. We'll do a Q&A. It's just gonna be a hangout. We'll do whatever we feel like doing. JavaScript. Alrighty. Anyone out there on YouTube, if you're still watching, head over to Twitch. You can join us in this raid. Though if you haven't joined us on Twitch yet, you probably won't. But I'll find someone to raid. Just be sure to stick around. Let's get that raid message ready. There we go. Doc has a giant raid message. I don't think we want to spam that in people's chats, though. We'll go with the shorter version. This one. That's the raid message. Copy that message. You can join us in the raid. And thanks for the follow, Meadow Dorian. Much appreciated. Cool. Yeah, this was super fun. Alrighty, everyone. Thanks again. Have a wonderful night, or evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here is this.